Last time on Square Roots, we sneak our way through the twilight of Edo, Japan, ride our way through the Old West, and punch our way through the present. Also, we deploy the most dangerous traps of all, pornography and a carrot. That's so weird.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Sant.
Hey, it's me, Matthew Van Sant.
John Roundy Brandon.
Oh, that Clank has some nice roundies.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And this is our penultimate episode of our Live Alive series.
Live or alive.
Yeah. This is a fun game, right?
Oh yeah, we're really hyped up for this game. We like to play it, we're having a good time, and we're very happy to be here recording with you tonight.
Yeah.
Energy level is 1,000. We love to be here recording with you. You're our best friends in the whole world.
Little listeners who listen with their ears and they never speak to us because we can't hear you.
Well, before we get into the game, let's talk about the hot gaming news of the week.
Nothing really
What a
happened.
hot week it was.
No, there was no news at all.
There was such hot gaming news. I'm coming in with two hot stories. Story number 1, PlayStation VR 2 launches in February 2023 at a price point of $550.
Wow.
People are kind of hyped about that. It looks kind of cool, actually.
Does it though?
I also
don't
cannot
know.
bring myself to care about VR.
I want to try it. I still haven't
I
tried
feel like
it.
I want to try it, yeah.
I cannot bring
cool.
myself to care about VR. Also, I don't want goggles on my head. I already hate having to wear headphones.
That's kind of the worst part.
Yeah, I don't want goggle on my head. I want room with it's black and then it has a grid pattern and then it makes the VR all around me.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that still AR or is that that's AR, right?
Oh, no, that's, we call those holographics.
Oh.
Yeah.
We in the scientific community.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
called
interested.
holography.
Yeah, I'm interested in some hard light holography.
Oh.
And I would also like it to work in tandem with replication technology so I can eat all the sweet rolls in Skyrim for real.
Have you guys ever been in those like gaming rooms where it's like stuff is projected on the floors and the walls and it's all interactive? You ever
Yeah.
done anything like that? Yeah.
Yeah, but the games are never good.
Yeah, it's mostly like stuff just that makes you tired. A lot of
Yeah.
physical activity.
The games are like stomp on these bugs, and
Yeah.
so you stomp around the room. It's like when you were a child and you'd watch TV and the person on the TV would be like, "Everybody get up, it's time to stomp." I don't get up. I just sit on the couch and stare at them until they're
I
finished.
don't know. When I was a kid watching TV, they're all like, "Everybody get up, and get down. Jump off your feet and jump around. Jump around!"
I don't want to do
Okay.
that.
Or they want you to do what's that instructional dance that white people do at weddings?
The
Dynamite.
cha-cha slide.
Yes, the cha-cha slide.
I like to think of it as more of like a jump situation, you know? And you know who's going to do that? Who's going to make you do that? That's right, crisscross with their backwards clothes on. Crisscross will make you. It's a good song.
I have heard that you have to get up to get down. But I don't want to get down. Like, if I'm already down, why would I get up just to get down again?
I don't want to get up.
So that's one piece of hot gaming news. The other piece of hot gaming news, everyone was so excited for symbiogenesis. Square was
yeah.
like, hey, symbiogenesis is coming. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. People thought that maybe this was related to Parasite Eve because they used the term symbiogenesis in that. Turns out it's not related
And
to
semen.
Parasite Eve. Yeah, it's not related to semen. It is, get ready, brace yourself. The
A Spider-Man game.
No. It's, the first digital collectible art project designed from the ground up for Web3 fans.
Oh wow, that sounds like a good investment.
Yeah, it
Wow.
sounds really cool and great.
Is that from Square?
Yeah, it's brand new entertainment content.
Square's
gonna
going
have-
to die. Say
Yeah.
goodbye.
It's gonna have collectible digital art paired with an interactive story and a dedicated community.
How do they guarantee a dedicated community? Oh, I guess they mean
Ma-
like there's community activities or like an interface.
It seems more like they are saying that there will be a community of people using this stuff, but you're right, they have no way of knowing that.
Hey, somebody explain to me what it all means, because I don't understand it. What does that mean? Is it a game I can play? Do I get to play a game?
You get to buy some NFTs.
I get to.
That's kind of like a game.
NFT's nuts.
That's a great point, Jim.
Yeah.
Fortnite Skywalker Week is coming. It's Luke, Leia, and Han Skywalker.
Wow. Oh, yeah, my son mentioned that there were lightsabers in the game now.
You can build a fort with a lightsaber.
But I
Never
think
played
most kids
Fortnite.
play in no building mode now.
Do they?
Do they?
I thought the whole point of Fortnite was the fort.
The whole point of Fortnite, the fort, was to differentiate it from the other game that they worked on called PUBG.
And Overwatch?
But now,
I don't know about Overwatch, bud. Overwatch 2? Your favorite new game?
Yeah, my favorite new game. Their servers are great now. They fixed everything.
What other hot gaming news?
What?
PlayStation Plus has lost 1.9 million subscribers since their relaunch.
Why did they
I was
relaunch?
thinking about canceling my PlayStation Plus. I just don't get a lot of value out of it.
Yeah, they introduced this new tiered pricing, but their base tier went up in cost, and I think a lot of people who are dual console owners are kind of choosing one or the other to be their subscription console, and I believe that people feel that Xbox offers the better value.
I love that Game Pass.
But if I get rid of my PlayStation Plus subscription, I won't have access to my massive library of PlayStation Plus games I've accumulated that I've never played.
Yep, that's how that works.
It seems like a trick. That's it for hot gaming news for me. I've given you a lot.
I have a small hot gaming-ish news. Last of Us is going to premiere in January.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm
It's on
excited for
HBO.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it for sure. That's who's playing? Is it? It's not Oscar Isaac.
The
It's
guy-
Pablo.
the guy-
Pedro. It's the guy that plays the Mandalorian, right? Pedro
Pascal.
That's right, Pascal. I don't know.
And Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie. Also, it's got Nick Offerman and Melanie Linsky and Murray Bartlett and Graham Greene and Brendan Fletcher. It's got a pretty stacked little cast.
I guess.
Gabriel Luna is in it. Troy Baker.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reading the cast list. I guess is God of War out?
No, it comes out on Wednesday.
So that's why people are semi-reviewing it. Also, I think Bayonetta is also about to drop.
Bayonetta already dropped. It is out.
That's a game you could not pay me to care about. I just don't know why. I'd probably play the first one if we were doing it for the show or something, but I just don't care.
Yeah, it's got
pretty
a
fun.
story that you totally could.
Yeah, it's got a pretty cool story actually. I think the story of the Bayonetta games are pretty neat.
I'm not a fan of magical hair powers. That always kind of grosses me out. It just kind of skews me out. I don't know. I don't need the hair.
If you
It's
love
jealousy.
Tangled.
I
Yeah,
do
you
love
do love
Tangled,
Tangled.
but her hair is just long. It does not move of its own fucking will.
It's got magic though.
I don't see. That seems like a stretch, Jim.
How do you feel about Cousin It?
Not a fan of Cousin It.
I don't think his hair moves on its own, if that helps.
Yeah, but he's just gross.
Yeah, he's a gross little man.
Is this, feeling that you have about hair the reason that you took all of yours out of your head?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I plucked them out one by one, starting from the widow's peak of my forehead, and then slowly backwards until there was a nice U shape of hair around my head.
For me, it was watching the musical Hair, and I was like, I don't want anything to do with
Yeah. Matt and Johnny have to keep their head shaved because their hair is too magical.
Yes.
Too magical.
Yeah.
It moves on
somebody-
its own volition.
Yeah.
If somebody sings a song while touching my head, they have magic powers. That's a fact. Do you want to build a snowman? Wait, that's
Do
not
y'all
the song.
remember in, the first X-Men movie when they tried to give mutant powers to a human, and his mutant powers ended up just being able to, gloop through some bars, and then he glooped?
Yeah,
to
his
the
mutant
ground?
power was slime.
Yeah, I feel like that's the powers you would get from touching Matt's head and singing a song.
That was always really weird to me. Like, how convenient. You give this man mutant powers and it just turns into slime? In fact, it really seems to have kind of fucked them, right? Like,
Yeah, I think basically it just broke down his cell structure.
that's true. That's probably what it is. John's leaving. He's had enough. He's sick and tired of all of this hot video game news talk, and he wants to level up. But since he's
all
walked
level up.
away, Vanessa should level up first.
Okay, I'm going to do it, but before I do it, I want to make it clear that I am not going to talk about Taskmaster or a Taskmaster adjacent property.
I don't believe you.
So,
In fact, if
when I
anything,
talk
this warning is a real red flag.
it's not Taskmaster or any international version of Taskmaster, but I will talk about 2 TV shows I've been watching. The first TV show I've been watching is called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Who's still watching that show? It's me. I never got around to watching season 4. Now I'm watching it. It's okay. I don't know how many people actually stuck through to the end of the show. One thing I've noticed about this season is they, in very much sort of a Riverdale fashion, are including a lot of musical numbers.
What?
A lot of excuses for their stars to be in a band and sing a song in a band, or sing a song for some other reason, or just have, a musical number.
That's very
And
odd.
it's very odd,
It's
especially...
very much not the tone they set.
No, it's not. But it's very much the tone that Riverdale set, so maybe they were sort of trying to trade on having those universes more adjacent.
I didn't know Riverdale had musical numbers either. I think I watched half a season of Riverdale. Does that
They're
mean they
singing
tacked
all
on
the
later?
time in Riverdale. Well, they have the Josie and the Pussycats. They start out with that. And then,
That's fun.
Archie had a band as well. And then Veronica opened a speakeasy where they all sing,
Sure.
lounge songs and stuff
Oh,
like
boy.
that. The Sabrina cast is diverse in their musical talents, I would say. And
What does that
probably not... Well, some of them, they all try. And they do their best.
Oh, boy.
But it gets kind of awkward when they're like, now we're going to have this amazing battle of the bands, and the crowd is going wild, and you're like, ugh. This... I will say it's very realistic for, if you went to a high school battle of the bands, what you might expect to hear and see. So,
You're saying they're no sex babam, is what you're saying.
they're no sex bomb. But still a pretty fun show. I I do like the aesthetic of it, and it has a good cast. It's a little overbloated, probably.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
Kind of unrelated, but it popped into my head. Are you going to watch the Wednesday Addams show?
I imagine I will give it a shot. Whether it will
got a
stick,
Tim
I do not
Burton
know.
Directing.
Is that so?
Yeah, most of the episodes. I think there's 3 blocks of shooting. I think each block's like 2 episodes, and he directed 2 blocks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember reading
interesting.
somebody complaining about how they didn't feel like they were getting credit, actually. Now that I think about it.
Well, that was about Nightmare Before Christmas, wasn't it?
No,
Yeah,
that's
that
more
was a
recent,
Nightmare
though. That's
Before
not the
Christmas.
article I'm thinking
That was
of.
like yesterday.
Yeah, there's an article about this yesterday.
I did see that, but that's not what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, someone was
Anyway,
talking about how everyone thinks
we
Tim
don't need to
Burton
go.
directed
Such a
Nightmare
big
Before
deal.
Christmas, and he didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas. The other show that I have watched is called The Horn Section. This is a new show. It is
I know that band.
Do you know that band? It's a sitcom about a band. So it's like this band. It's a real band, and the
Led by
premise
little Alex
is
Horn.
yeah, that's the name of the band leader. I don't know why that's important right now, but so
I thought we weren't talking about Taskmaster.
I'm not talking about
Sounds like a
Taskmaster. What are you
name.
talking about?
He is the creator of Taskmaster.
Okay, yes,
I
technically
knew it
he's
sounded
the
familiar.
creator of Taskmaster, but this is not Taskmaster. It's a totally different show
Uh-huh.
about his band, and they have their own sitcom now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a 5-episode sitcom or something like that. Just about the band hanging out, doing things. Interestingly, it did, like the first scene does take place on the set of Taskmaster, and they talk about it a lot, and about how this show is not Taskmaster, and it shouldn't have just Taskmaster people on it. But thus far, apart from the band, it's been mostly Taskmaster people, I would say.
But it's a scripted sitcom.
It's a scripted sitcom, yes. I would say that it takes place in the Taskmaster universe, insofar as Little Alex Horn is a made-up version of Alex Horn, and Greg
Okay.
Davies is a made-up version of Greg Davies.
Right.
So if you want to see, like, Greg Davies bring his laundry to Alex Horn's house and make him do his laundry, this is the kind of show for you.
Oh, God.
You can watch it on all 4. All the episodes are up. And when I say
Cool.
you, I mean our UK listeners and nobody else.
You need some kind of trickery to watch that here.
Yeah, and I would never endorse or resort to trickery.
Right.
I also tried to watch Jim's favorite show, The Cabinet of something.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
for me.
Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of
You
Curiosities.
hated it, and you yelled at him.
I did
You
hate
did
it and I
yell
yelled
at
it. I said that I didn't think that it was a sober time show, which perhaps was a little bit harsh. But
I watched it sober.
I found
Quote.
the pacing. I found the pacing to be a little bit slow for me.
Yeah, I will say most of them, not all of them, but most of them are short story adaptations. Actually, I think the first, like, maybe 4, 5, or 6 of them are all short story adaptations, so they definitely follow that beat. Those beats.
It's very much a you kind of horror show in that it leans heavily into the like Lovecraftian sort of realms of horror. Whereas I, of course, prefer a ghost. What I don't know is a ghost.
Have you seen The Murmuring, the final episode?
Scandal.
I think you would really, really, really enjoy that
Well,
one.
not now that you've spoiled it for her.
That's what you said about the viewing, and I didn't like that one.
I thought so. The viewing, yeah, I really liked that one because it's a Panos Cosmatos thing that's very kind of out there and
Oh,
synthy
that's that
and
guy. I know. I've met him before.
yeah. When I was recommending it, I was like, it was written and directed by John's best friend Panos Cosmatos.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I liked that one a lot.
It was just a bunch of people doing drugs.
That's a Panos Cosmatos
Uh.
thing.
Well, there's also black goo and other weird
There was
stuff.
definitely some goo and some body horror and
Yeah, all that stuff.
but it had such a great cast. It had like Eric Andre and Peter Weller and
I wouldn't
Peter
say that
Weller.
anyone has done
Eric
a bad
Andre.
job. The first episode had one of Johnny's supernatural friends.
Oh, which one?
Whose name is...
Tim Blake Nelson.
No, his name is Sebastian something.
That's not the English one.
He is English, but it's not the English one you're thinking of.
Oh, it's the other English one. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's like from the Men of Letters.
No.
Oh.
He might have actually been before your time on that show.
Oh. I mean, I worked on the first season.
Then he was not from before your time. His name is Sebastian Rocher. He is Scottish-French.
I'll have to look him up.
I can put a picture of him in the chat if you want. I also put a picture in the chat of a shirt that I'm thinking about buying.
Remember
Jim
when,
thinks we should all buy the
Ferrero
shirt.
Rochers tricked us into thinking they were fancy?
They still try to. They show those pyramids of them, and I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. But also,
And I
like,
love
I don't.
it. I love chocolate.
Yeah. But like, it's not. They're not expensive.
They're not fancy. They're good.
They're fine.
Hazelnut in the middle. Yum, 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 yum.
I've been to some Christmas parties in my day, but I've never been to a Christmas party where they had one of those Ferrero Rocher towers.
I did last week actually.
What? You went to a Christmas
Yeah.
party last week
Well,
where
not a
they had a
Christmas
Ferrero
party,
Rocher tower?
but a Halloween party.
Uh-huh. And
Matthew and I should
it
get
was
that controller shirt.
They were serving champagne, and they had Ferrero Rocher set up in a little pyramid.
Wow.
Like a little
Fancy.
pyramid or a big pyramid, like in the thing?
Like a medium-sized pyramid.
How many Ferrero Rochers tall do you think it was?
I bet the base was probably like 30 Ferrero Rochers.
Oh, wow. Oh, wait, 30 by 30?
Yeah.
Not 30 by 30. That'd be thousands.
No, not 30 by 30. It was probably maybe like 25, maybe like 5 by 5. It was like a little pyramid.
Was it like just stuck to a foam cone? Because I assume that's how
No,
they do
it was
it.
on it was on a table.
Yeah, but was there a foam cone behind it, or was it pure Ferrero Rocher all the way through?
It was Ferrero Rocher all the way through, based on what it looked like. I mean, I didn't eat any. I don't partake in Ferrero Rocher.
Were there kings
but,
and sultans there with this kind of luxury?
No, but it was for a jewelry company. I did get some free jewelry.
Jewelry?
Jewelry?
Oh, I thought you
not
said-
what I heard.
Jewelry? Jewelry?
Jim's doing his best.
Oh,
You
you
can't
said
expect
jewelry.
him to say everything burger time.
All right, Vanessa's done.
Fine. Jim, how did you level up?
What did I put in the document? Oh yeah, I watched a show. I watched it 4 episodes. It's only 4 episodes long. It's a mini-series on Netflix that was written and produced by Stephen Moffat, who wrote a lot for Doctor Who and wrote the Sherlock series on BBC.
Don't
it's,
even talk shit about
yeah.
that show. I love it more than
How-
anything on
yeah.
earth.
We
Fucking
love
crazy
it.
talk.
We love
this
Sherlock
show-
and we love Little John Watson and we want them to kiss.
God, Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, this one also has a pretty good cast. It's got Stanley Tucci and who's that guy who was Doctor Who? Who was
Tom
also
Baker.
in other
Peter
guy.
Capaldi,
Sylvester
No,
McCoy.
Before that.
Matt
After that.
Smith,
Before that.
Christopher Eccleston,
Before that.
David Tennant.
David Tennant. Got David Tennant and Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci plays a guy on death row who's on there for murdering his wife, but he kind of like solves little cases from his cell with his cellmate who has like photographic memory. His cellmate looks exactly like our listener Ron Ron.
Oh, wow.
Not even kidding. I was watching it with my girlfriend and I was like, oh my god, that looks just like a guy I know. And I pulled up his picture and she's like, oh my god, it does.
Is he in this show? Like, is it Ron
It
Ron?
does though. No, it's not Ron Ron, but it looks just like Ron Ron.
Okay.
And then so Stanley Tucci is like a death row detective, and he gets involved in this case with David Tennant's character, who is a vicar in this like village in Great Britain, and something happens with him and his son, and it just kind of gets crazier and crazier, but it's really good. I thought it was pretty captivating. So I would recommend that. It's only 4 episodes long. I think every episode is a little under an hour, so it's not too bad. And then a few nights ago, before Halloween, I was looking for something spooky to watch late at night, and I got served one of those Facebook ads that's like, here's 10 spooky movies to watch that maybe you've never heard of that are good. And so I saw one on there that was called The Lair, that was like a monster movie, and I was like, all right, I'll give this one a shot, even though it's fucking $7 to rent. Good lord.
Okay, Jim's
so I
not
rented
wrong.
it.
Yeah.
Huh? He looks just like him, right?
It's
Ron
Ron
Ron,
Ron.
but there certainly is a lot of Ron Ron there. I think Ron Ron's
Yeah.
thinner and probably taller.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of uncanny. But I was like, I'm gonna watch this Lair film, and goddamn, it was one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. Just absolutely awful. It takes place in 20. Do you guys remember in like 2017 when Trump dropped the mother of all bombs in Afghanistan or somewhere on like a Al Qaeda stronghold? You guys remember that?
No, I blocked all that
Because
shit out.
everyone's like, we've never used the Moab before, and Trump's like, we dropped the mother of all bombs. It uses
piece
that
of
as
shit.
context. It's like the official story was, we dropped it on an Al Qaeda stronghold, but there were actually aliens. It took place in the Middle East, and there's a secret Russian installation with monsters in it, and they accidentally let the monsters out, and they attack like an American like forward operating base. It's terrible. Some of the worst acting I've ever seen.
That's terrible.
I think that was one of those games that we played together. Oh, no, we did play
Yeah,
together.
sounds like a. No, it does sound like a Vampire Tisdale.
Yep. Vampire
like what?
Tisdale.
Vampire Tisdale the game.
Oh, it does sound like House of Ashes. Yeah,
Sounds like it
there's
was
some House of
produced by
Ashes
the
there.
Daily Wire.
The Daily Wire. I will say that it was. I think it's a UK production. So it's not like super political. Thankfully, it's mostly about monsters ripping people's faces off and stuff. But I thought it was really silly and not very well acted, and I do not recommend it. Johnny, how did you level up?
I leveled up by playing Batman. I played Batman a bit. Not the new one. 'cause
Arkham
you can't
Knight.
Yeah, I downloaded Arkham Knight for $3, and I was like, let's see how this game is. And that game's
I feel
great,
like-
even though
I
it's
feel like-
pretty old.
I feel like for $3, you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
There's some
Is
fun
Arkham
stuff
Knight
to
the
be had
one
in
that's
that
like a
That's Tank
prequel
game.
to Asylum?
No,
Oh, is
that's
it the tank
Arkham
one?
Origins.
Oh no.
It's the tank one. Is that bad?
Oh no, I hate the tank.
You know what?
one.
I think for $3, I think there's plenty of fun to be had there. Probably you won't finish it, and probably you shouldn't. But that's also the
Wait,
one
so which,
infamously that
Batman games
has
are
the
good?
Riddler's greatest riddles of all time. How fast can you drive around this racetrack?
I skipped those. In my first playthrough, I did all of that. Found every
Crazy.
Riddler trophy, did all the side quests, did all that shit. But last time I replayed it, which was like a few months ago, I skipped over all that shit.
So which
What,
one's good?
which one have you
Batman's
played?
the good ones?
Arkham City is probably
I
the best.
finished
Arkham
Arkham
Agree.
Asylum.
Asylum and
Asylum is
City
my
are the top.
only one I really like. So
No, Arkham City is the best one for sure.
That's the one with. I played a little bit of
a
it
lot
with
of people agree with
sexy,
Jim, so.
sexy Catwoman.
That's Arkham
Yeah.
City.
What's the one after that? Is that one any good?
Knight.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
One
one. I
came
got.
out.
It goes Asylum, City, and
A
Night.
game came
What
out
about
between,
Origin?
but that was Origins, and it
I
was
don't know.
produced by a different studio.
Yeah, it wasn't Rocksteady, right?
Yeah, I think I played some of Origins, but not all of it.
I've played Origins before. It's fine.
A friend of mine played
All those
it
games are
and
fine.
said that it was it's like sneakily his favorite for some reason.
It's definitely feels the most comic booky. It's the one it's got like a ton of comic book baddies in it because like I think the whole setup for that game is there's one night and there's a huge bounty on Batman's head and he's got to kill all or
You
not
have to
kill
take
he's got
down
to like defeat
all
all
the
the
assassins.
assassins.
Yeah. Doesn't it culminate in Deathstroke? He's fun.
I believe so, yeah. But it's got like Shocker and
Fireflies in it.
And there's a
Yeah, I remember
there's
Firefly.
there's a cool rogues gallery in that one.
Arkham Knight just has the Arkham Knight, which is
It's got like Mad Hatter and Pigface serial killer guy and
it does have
Got Scarecrow.
Fireflies in it.
It
Scarecrow's
starts with
the main bad guy.
Scarecrow like gassing this
I thought
diner
Arkham
in
Knight
a real
was the
like
main
Call
bad
of Duty opening where you're playing a cop and it's first person and someone's like, oh, that
Yeah.
guy's smoking, and you go see him and then it's all zombies.
Yeah, then everybody starts like eating each other.
Yeah. And that was all due to his gas attack. I don't know, it looks real pretty. I'm still experimenting with games, like going back and playing old games and seeing how they run on my PC now that I have like this super fancy PC, and that's been pretty fun. So, yeah, otherwise I haven't been doing a ton. I hate to disappoint. I've been working a lot this week. So, all I did was Arkham. What about Matthew?
Oh, I got three
do
things
have
to talk about. I got three really important things to talk about, and you're all going to be very interested, except for Jim.
Oh boy.
First, I am totally hooked on a game called Marvel Snap. Thanks, Stan.
Ah.
Fucking dickface.
I am interested in this because everyone's talking about how good Marvel Snap is, and I was like, do I have to play Marvel Snap?
It's a great.
I don't know.
Thing one, it is a card game.
Mhm.
It's very much. It feels very Hearthstone inspired to me. Hearthstone. But it is. They're quick. It's the concept of these quick, like minute and a half, 2 minute long matches. It's not pay to win. Everybody has to send cards. You unlock cards by playing the game more, but you can't buy cards, which I like. I don't like games where it's just everybody buy as many packs as you can until you get the best cards and then win all the time. That's not fun. It's very snappy and fun. It's good, and I would recommend downloading it to anybody that's interested in that type of game. I know Johnny hates a card game, and I know Jim hates a Marvel, but Vanessa, it's on PC, I think, and it is on iOS and probably Android. And how to describe it? That's got an interesting conceit, which is that there are 3 locations, and you're kind of battling to have the most power, the highest number basically at each location, and each location randomly reveals a different rule change. And there are 6 turns, and you collect energy each turn, similar to Hearthstone, so you start with 1 energy, and then the next turn you have 2, and then the next turn you have 3, versus something like Magic the Gathering, where it's all about playing them from your hand. It's snappy and fun, and it's a good game. The reason it's called Marvel Snap is that you are wagering each match 2 cubes, and you can hit the snap button to double that wager to 4 cubes at any time during the match, and your opponent can hit the snap button to double it to 8 cubes. Now me, I don't like to do a snap. I'm just trying to play the game. I don't give a shit about cubes. But I'll tell you what I do like. What I like is when somebody do a snap, particularly when they do it real early, and then I beat them anyway. It's very satisfying, and it happens a lot. And my favorite thing is that there is a very limited ability to communicate. You can just kind of hit a few words, like, what and huh. And one of them is snapped with a question mark at the end. And my favorite thing to do is to beat somebody that snapped on me, and then as the game is ending, ask them snapped. Thanks for those fucking cubes, dum dum. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun game.
Can you play as interesting Marvel characters?
Yeah, it's got a
like,
pretty diverse card set. Everything from Strong Guy and
Is that a real one, or you make
Strong Guy, yeah. He's an X Factor character who's very strong. And he gets stronger the more he gets hit. And he gets bigger and beefier the more he gets strong.
Wait,
Ooh.
tell me more about this guy.
Strong Guy's pretty great, John, and I'm surprised he's not your top tier favorite, and I will send you some images in a moment. But,
His character's name is Guido.
yeah, it is Guido. Characters like Strong Guy and Wolfsbane, so plenty of X-Men, it's deep cuts all over.
So it's not just 8 versions of Wolverine.
No, in fact, it takes a long time to get a Wolverine or a Spider-Man.
I don't want Wolverine around.
Nah, the Wolverine's not great, I don't use him.
No, Strong Guy's hair kills it for me.
Oh, yeah, his hair's silly.
Hair can be changed, Johnny. Come on. You know, like, you're
It's
one of
real
those people...
bad, though.
He's not a great
He looks like he's
character,
a
though.
representative of the Lollipop Guild.
He's not a great character
Listen.
either. Like, he's a nice guy, quote. You know what I mean? I feel like.
I watch these home shows, and people are like, I don't like the paint color. It's paint. You gotta look at the bones. You can paint a room.
I don't want to look at his bones.
You gotta look at his bones. You gotta get him under the x-ray, get a really good look at what you're working with, and then if there's something there that you can mold into your liking, you should do it. Men love it when you do that. When you're like, I can fix you. They eat it up. Oh gosh, no, his hair is really bad. I'm sorry, I just saw it. I take it all back.
Anyway, that's my Marvel Snap level up, but I have 2 more level ups. They're tied together. Gang, guess what? Guess what I did? Can you believe what I did?
Did you Did you drug your friend Paul when he wasn't looking?
No. Why would you suggest such a thing? My other big level up is that I finished Star Trek Voyager.
Oh!
What? Can you believe that I
So
finally watched that
that-
fucking show?
Did you like that Year of Hell episode?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't like the big reset button at the end. That aggravated me.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
reset at the end aggravates the shit out of me. I finished Star Trek Voyager. It did get better from the first couple of seasons, which were really bad. But it never got particularly great. I thought even the good episodes, even like the really good episodes, were like pretty good.
I recall being dissatisfied with the finale's coda.
Yeah, I don't think it works at all. I think that, it's a 20-year-old show, so we can spoil it. After this ship has been stranded in the Delta Quadrant for 7 years and is now only 30,000 light years away from Earth and has finally established, like, video communication with the Starfleet and yada, yada, yada. The last episode is, like, 20 years later, and they've all gone home, and we get to learn all about their lives. And it's very similar to the TNG finale, isn't it? Wow, that sucks. That's really shitty, because the TNG finale sucks, too. Anyway, we get to meet all of our characters all grown up, and some of them are dead, and Janeway does a complete character change and is like, I'm going to throw away everything I said in the first all of this show up to now. I've decided to go back in time and bring Voyager home early with some very silly looking future tech like shields that are literally just armor around your ship. Okay. And that's what she does. And original Janeway is like, yeah, sure, why don't we just violate every principle we hold and get us home early? Because I've heard that some of my crew is going to die. Many of them have died, but I've heard more are going to die, so that's enough for me. It wasn't good. But she gets home. The most frustrating thing to me, though, was definitely that the episode ends with them finally getting home, cut to black. Like, fucking come on.
Yeah!
Man.
We love a reunion scene, and that's what we want to see. We want to see them astronauts on the Earth, their feet on the ground,
Yeah.
getting down on their hands and knees,
Just to
kissing the
wrap up.
green grass.
Just
we
to
want to
wrap
see
up.
Neelix being like, oh, this is Earth? It's beautiful.
No, Neelix stayed behind like 3 episodes before.
Yay!
I hated Neelix for the first 2 seasons, but when Kess left, he got more tolerable. He never became great, but he certainly got more tolerable, mostly because his character was not, I'm a jealous lover. Anyway, I finished Star Trek Voyager. It was okay at best. I have a follow-up question. I have a follow-up
For
statement.
yourself?
We have a
That was not
new
a question, but go
contender.
ahead.
We have a new contender for best Star Trek opening theme after Voyager, which is so good. But I don't know if it can hold a candle to It's been a long road to get
No.
here.
That's the worst one.
Are you going to watch all of Enterprise now?
I am 5 episodes into Enterprise, and it's okay.
One time I was flipping through the channels and Enterprise was on, so I thought I'd watch a little bit of it. And there was a scene where the doctor was like in his lab and one of the fish tanks he was looking at was shaking because the creature was moving around. But you could just straight up see the fishing line tied to the tank.
That's funny.
Like, unquestionably, it was there.
The episode that I was watching right before we started recording did have a great Jeffrey Rush appearance. That's his name, right? The guy that's played 7,000 Star Trek characters.
No, Jeffrey Rush is like a British actor. You're thinking of Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, yeah, I am thinking of Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs' appearance as one of the blue guys with the little antennas on his head. I love that guy.
And Dorans?
Yes, I love that guy. So just a quick hello to Star Trek Enterprise. I like the fact that their technology is shitty. It's interesting. The character T'Pol is a Vulcan woman that is on their ship. She's their science officer, and she seems to just kind of be their punching bag, sex object, misogyny dump. It's not fun. It's really bad.
Yeah,
And like
that's what-
and bigotry dump because I hate her because she's a Vulcan, and it's like, she's fuck
Yeah,
off.
I tried to watch Enterprise. I watched the very first episode, and I'm like, this will be great. I like Star Trek. I love Quantum Leap. It's got, like, Scott Bakula. How fun. And I couldn't handle it because they had this sex pot Vulcan that they treat like shit.
She looks
And-
like a off-brand Angelina Jolie from that era.
They definitely styled her in that way
Yes.
and tried to make her look like Angelina Jolie in Hackers. And then they had, like, in the very first episode, I think, some scene where they have to decontaminate, and so they're,
Oh,
like,
in the
in the
sexy
shower
shower?
together.
That's like one of 2 episodes of that show I watched. I was like, this is garbage.
Yeah, that's how I felt about that, too.
Listen, I get it, and I agree with you about all of that, but having been rewatching these, a lot of these shows have that stuff in it. So it's kind of hard
Does it?
to be like, yeah, you know what? Like, go back and watch the last season of Deep Space Nine with the Dax replacement, because that shit's dark. Like, that character
Right.
gets half the episodes, and they're all like, you're an incompetent piece of shit woman.
Yeah, Esme.
Deanna Troy
I
was not allowed
think
to wear a uniform for 6 fucking
Yeah,
years.
that's true.
They always got to have somebody, ever since TNG, they always got to have somebody on the bridge that is not in uniform. And it's always a woman, and it's always very tight-fitting.
What about Neelix?
Neelix was in the
Not a
galley,
woman
not in the
and
bridge.
not wearing tight-fitting clothing.
Okay. He's always on the bridge, though.
But I do like the kind of I like the more archaic technology and kind of seeing where it came from. That's really interesting. That's kind of enough to get me hooked. I like Scott Bakula. I'm willing to see where this goes for now. But circling back and wrapping up, I can't fucking believe the song that they chose for this fucking show. It's crazy. Number 1, this show came out in 2001, and this is a fucking 80s like glam or like fucking Guns N' Roses. What is that called? The like that your hair fucking metal song. It's like a hair band song in a 2001 show.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that song that was tied to Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which I can't even remember how it goes, but it was everywhere for a while.
From a rose on
No, it was
Everywhere
like,
you look. No.
anything I do.
Yeah, I do it for
Oh, yeah.
I do
Yeah,
it
who is that? Is that? It's not
for
Sting.
you.
It's
Brian Adams.
Isn't that Brian Adams, yeah.
Yeah.
We've apologized for Brian Adams on several occasions.
Anyway, it's an interesting show, and I might stick with it. I feel less obligated to, like, I felt like I had to finish Voyager. You know what was really frustrating is that I felt like I had to finish Voyager because I had to see how it ended, and it was such a letdown. Such a letdown.
No, it's true.
Also, in the last 3 episodes of Voyager, they decided that Chakotay and Seven love each other, and that shit was dumb.
Wait, I
Who's
thought
done?
Janeway and Chakotay were having a sort of...
I mean, they played
Janeway
that
never
the
hooked
whole
up with
show.
anyone.
The whole show, they did that kind of like, not even on again, off again, but like, will they, won't they? But kind of by the 7th season, you're like, that's never gonna happen. Anyway, Star Trek.
Remember that episode when Q tried to marry Janeway and he brought her puppies?
Yeah, remember the episode, the last Q episode, where he has a son? That was a stinker, I gotta say. Remember how Barkley showed up for the last, like, 3 seasons every fucking 2 weeks? And Deanna showed up a few times as well, but nobody else from the Next Generation cast.
I like a Barkley episode.
I do
though.
too, John. I hated it so much when I first started watching it, but now I'm down on Barkley. All right, anyway, I don't want to keep going on, but just it's been a long road to get here, and that's how we got here. That's the song. The end. Y'all should watch Star Trek Enterprise with me.
No, thank you.
That's all right. At least it's only 4 seasons, I think.
Love,
I've heard it gets better towards the
like
end.
your love.
If I can sit through the first season of TNG, I can sit through anything.
And snore love.
Not that I've ever actually sat through the first season of TNG, because it's bad.
What?
Great.
Not never?
No, I have not been able to watch season 1. I've watched
Hardly ever
bits and
watched the
pieces,
first
episode
season
here
of
and
Star
there.
Trek TNG.
It's bad. It's skippable, too. You don't need it.
Yeah,
Is it
but there's
because
the
of
episode
collars on the
with
suits.
with the blow up, with the big blow up at the end where the guy's head blows
The
up.
blow up doll.
No, the one where the guy's head blows up, and it's super gory, and it's great. And that episode,
I don't know
Riker,
what you're talking about.
roundhouse kicks an old man into a glass table, or vice versa. I can't. Well, either an old man roundhouse kicks Riker, or Riker roundhouse kicks an old man. I can't remember which one's which.
Your story is all over the place.
It's a great episode. It's called Conspiracy.
If Riker doesn't have
Watch
a
that
beard,
one.
this episode's going to be weird.
Yeah, that one really is.
All right,
Weird.
well, that's it for all of our level ups and our hot gaming news. It only took us 48 minutes to get through it. Thankfully, not a lot happens in this quest log.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Let's venture to the near future.
The chapter select.
The mysterious near future.
Oh, boy. This one tries to do an
Akira's a
anime
boy.
thing. It's kind of fun.
And isn't it not Tonkatsu? But I forget what it's called. But you know, like the live action Ultraman style, Kamen Rider style thing. That's what this one's a pastiche of. And
I don't-
it's great.
I'm not sure either.
Hold on, I can tell you. But you guys
It's not
can
really
tell.
worth looking up.
Well, you're not really.
We
worth
opened
looking up.
with some little eyeballs, and they're peeking at us. And they're like, hey, do you have any regrets in life? Or are you happy? And you have to answer its questions. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable telling this video game if I'm happy with my life or not. But I told it I wasn't, because I need a lot more money, like $1.5 billion. I'm just putting that out into the universe.
Well, lucky for you.
Lucky for me. My chance is on its way. So he's like, well, you know, fate can be what we make of it, and I choose to make my own fate. Now, listen to my story. And we cut to this garbage orphan lying in the park. Loitering.
Not loitering.
It's loitering. He's like asleep on the bench. This little kid comes up and he's like, hey, you better get up. Let's go. So you have to get up, and he sort of explains through voiceover narration that he can read people's minds.
Tokusatsu is what I'm looking for. It's like the practical special effect Japanese TV shows and movies.
This mind reading is an interesting concept, and I enjoyed it for a bit. But it felt like it was going to be like important in some way, and it was, but not in an interesting way. In the least interesting way.
Golden Sun does a lot more with this, but it's just a bigger game. And Octopath Traveler as well has a very similar mechanic.
Mind reading?
And practically, it
Yeah,
just gives
really.
you...
Well, no, it's like I think you're like a Sherlock Holmes and you're investigating people and you kind of get their life story and stuff from looking at them.
That's an Octopath Traveler?
Yeah, this game's a lot like I mean, it's by the remake's by the same people as Octopath Traveler, so but yeah, there's a lot of similarities between this game and Octopath Traveler.
From a practical point of view, it just basically gives you like 2 dialogue options to listen to instead of 1.
Yeah,
so, like
just
you
like
listen
Golden
to what
Sun.
the people say, and then you listen to what they say.
Golden Sun has telepathy as well?
Yeah, that was like a big thing in that.
I've
one.
never
You could,
heard
like,
that.
do
It's
telepathic
Yeah,
stuff
neither.
with the dogs and other animals. It's pretty fun.
Anyway,
See if someone's lying to you.
he gets attacked.
I was like, when I was playing this, well, yeah, he gets attacked by some ne'er-do-wells.
They're trying to
But
abduct
I-
him.
when this-
are they trying to?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to abduct him, right?
That would make
Yeah,
sense.
well, him
I
or
don't
the
think we understood
kid,
it at
right?
the
I
time,
don't
but yes,
remember.
that makes sense. They're trying to abduct him.
He's like, you picked the wrong kid. But then Lawless shows up on his motorcycle. Vanessa literally fainted when this happened.
I literally fainted.
She loves a
He's
pencil.
So cool.
She loves a pencil haircut, where your hair is just straight up around your head like a pencil eraser.
Yeah, and he rolled up with his pencil eraser hair, and they're like, who the heck are you? And he goes, I'm a local businessman.
He is. You can help him sell his meat on a stick.
Oh, really?
You guys didn't do that?
Yeah, you can get a lot of free items doing
do,
that.
I didn't do
You get a
that.
ton of free items, and
Yeah.
you take them to the man, and it upgrades it to a potion that heals your whole party. I have like 13 of them now.
Yeah,
I haven't
man.
used one,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I didn't do any of
well,
that.
good news.
Me neither.
You can go get it.
What's the good news?
You can go back and do it.
I don't want to play this chapter again.
Yeah, this chapter.
This game has not
Especially-
required much in the way of healing so far. Like, let's relax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. So
You
this,
know it's true.
so Lawless comes in to save the day, but it seems like you already got like Galarian mind powers. So I was like, okay, is this gonna be Akira?
Galarian.
Because it was giving me Akira vibes. I was like, this seems like Akira, and then it's like,
Me too.
my name is, and the default option is Akira, and there's motorcycle gangs. I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was like, I think I might have even posted in the group chat, oh, is this just gonna be Akira? But then like 1 second later, the game's like, nope, this is gonna be Ultraman. Have a theme song that is amazing. A
Theme song is
giant
a lot of fun.
robot.
Yeah, it's cool.
Best part of this chunker. Oh, I don't know. There's liquefaction. There's so much liquefaction.
Liquefaction
and
is
that might
not
be the best.
good.
That's one of the best
I-
parts of this chunker.
I like the Watanabe joke in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was very well done.
It's
That's my favorite running pit in this game is
The
Watanabe
Watanabe.
and his dad.
When do we
Dad
get
always
the flashback
dies.
and find out that Akira's father was a cop and died?
Yeah, you
Not
get
so
that
much
flashback.
later.
No, well, no, you get the right at the beginning. You get
Yeah,
you
you
just
get it
see him as a little kid. This is how he got to the orphanage. You see him as a little kid running up to his father's body as
Oh,
a
right.
gang member walks away, and then like you see him going to school with
Jesus
Mrs.
Christ.
Tycho.
He brought his kid to that? Because we see what happens later, and it doesn't. I don't remember him running out, so they didn't show it then.
Yeah, the kid definitely runs and finds his dad's body, and like
Yeah,
fades
it was
to
bring
black.
your kid to work
Yeah,
day.
he had to.
There's
Yeah,
no
the kid was
fuss
with
about
him.
it.
It's a big city.
He was that, and you saw he was over at the docks. That's where he got murdered. So he's like, "Oh, hey son, I'm going to the dangerous docks where the Akira bike gangs hang out. Do you want to come?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Come see your old man take down some criminals.
Is he really his?
I
Is
love
Lawless?
criminals.
Well, I don't want to spoil it. I guess. But is he his uncle? Like real uncle? He calls him uncle,
What?
doesn't he?
No,
I don't think so.
I mean, doesn't one of your kids call Jalen Auntie, or not Jalen calls Vanessa Auntie?
That's only because Vanessa bullied her into it.
Yeah, bullied her into it.
Wow.
I was like, come over here to Auntie Vanessa.
I mean, I
so
don't know that
can
she'll call you
teach
that again
sheets.
after you ignored her on Twitch the other day.
I didn't see her message.
Who the fuck is
Wow.
that?
Ignored a child.
She
so
wasn't playing.
You are some kind of orphan. I'm not gonna put a value judgment on whether this is a good or a bad or a garbage orphan.
Psychic orphan.
It's a psychic orphan. It's a Galarian. So
Psychic
you're at
orphan
this.
is the most garbage kind of orphan.
So you cut to his daily, little slice of life at the orphanage where he gets little Watanabe, to do all his dirty work and like steal stuff for him, which doesn't seem cool.
No.
It also led to a very confusing sequence where I had to go in and out of the toilet a bunch of times.
That's not the only
Yeah.
time you gotta go in and out of the toilet in this
Yeah.
this chapter.
This
the
game
chapter's very
loves toilet
focused.
jokes, and I don't appreciate it.
This character loves lounging on the
Oh, yeah.
toilet.
He does.
Every
He's
toilet
always
he sees, you're lounging
sits
on
back.
that.
Yeah, with his legs crossed,
Yeah.
his arms behind his head.
Yeah, he's just.
What, you guys don't have a pooping
He's not
pose?
pooping. He's not pooping.
Everybody has a pooping pose. And this is his.
I guess I do, but it's like hunched over my phone
my
while I
gosh.
scroll.
What about the squatty potty where you put your legs up?
I had one of those for a while. I
Like,
didn't like it.
Does it help though?
I don't
well,
know.
I thought it was like you'd literally have to squat, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. But no, it just like raises up your
It's
legs
just a
while you
stool.
sit normally.
Yeah.
On a,
It's
yeah.
not. It was not. It's not comfortable, and I did not like it.
It's supposed to be good for you, though, right?
I don't feel like I have a lot of problems in that area. But I guess as you get older, you can get those that thing where it turns inside
Yeah,
out.
squatty potty.
Oh God, no. Okay,
That's called a pro.
I want to talk about burger styles. I think
all of
In-N-Out is underrated. It's a great restaurant. I really like In-N-Out. I would, you know what? I would try Whataburger if I lived in Texas or anywhere near Whataburger. I don't even live near an In-N-Out right now, so I can't have either. We have
Pretty
viewers,
telling
so
that
it's
my
pretty good.
story about what can happen to your rectum made you think
No!
about In-N-Out.
Anyway, so the next thing that happens
Sounds like it
is
can be in and it
that
can be out.
Watanabe. Well, actually, no. The next thing that happens is a turtle emergency.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Coyote's
This-
turtle is sick.
yeah. Who is the sister of this garbage orphan?
Yes, she's
No, is
also
she?
a garbage orphan. His little
Yes,
sister.
Well, she's not his sister. She just lives at the Garbage Pail Kids orphanage with him.
Oh, I thought
They
she was
all
his real
say they're
sister.
brothers. I thought she was as
No,
well.
they all call each other.
But I
like
guess
bro and
I guess
sis.
they are. It's fine. Yeah.
who are
So
you, Jen?
she's not doing great. She's living. I
So
mean,
technically,
she's already
they
sick,
could get married, is what you're saying.
and
Welcome
the
to
turtle
Game
is
of Thrones.
sick.
Turtle is sick. So this kid decides he's going to go to the Antigua dealer for some reason.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
Well,
That guy
that's his
knows
friend
his
Doc Tobey. He's like a Japanese Doc Brown.
Yeah. So you
And
skateboard
guess
over
what
there.
he's doing when you get there?
Jerking it.
No, he's pooping.
Oh. Oh.
God. Remember? And you're knocking on the door. He's like, 1 second. Oh, I got some on my hand. God, I need some better toilet paper.
Exactly. Because he was jerking it.
Oh. You jerk into toilet paper? No. Come on. Grow up.
Yeah, come on the toilet paper. It's tidy.
Is it? What do you make like a little toilet paper?
This episode is going off the rails.
That's what I do.
No.
I make a bullseye and then see how accurate I can be.
That would be a great Taskmaster task, come to think of it. I'm going to write in.
How accurate are you at
I
shooting?
mean, you're washing your hands either way, right? So, like, what's the difference?
So,
Dear Alex, have I got an idea for you?
but he comes out and he's like, what?
A turtle is sick? Oh, I gotta help you with that.
So he rushes to Kaori's room. He immediately decides the only proper course of action, which you'll soon find is his kind of, I guess it's his sort of idea for everything.
Yeah,
is
his go-to
liquefaction.
move.
Yeah. It
He.
seems like it's everybody's idea for everything.
I wanted to when we get to the lab, we'll talk about that because I feel like Dr. Tobai maybe he has some dark secrets. Because it seems unusual that there'd be two doctors obsessed with liquefaction in the same city and they don't work together. Come on, grow up.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I think there's some dark secrets behind Dr. Tobai. So he says, okay, what I'm going to do right now is take your turtle, liquefact him, not liquefy, liquefact the turtle into a goo, and then put this goo into what he happens to have here, a giant turtle mech suit. Actually, a regular-sized turtle.
Yeah.
But a regular-sized human, not
He was
turtle-sized.
kind of like the Ninja Turtles robot. Remember the Ninja Turtles robots?
No.
Prang.
No.
No, the- like
For
when they
sure,
were
they're
like
when
when
they
they were
yeah,
like
they were
robots.
They were like Transformer knockoff turtle toys that you could buy.
Yeah, they were Ninja Turtle robots.
So, this turns out to be an amazing companion who is like, thank you, Kaori, thank you. So he's still got his memories. He's not horrified about turning into a robot.
Liquid.
No, and now he has
Liquid.
like the power of speech. He does have massive dangling red testicles.
No, those are like
Those
bowling ball
are
hands.
those are massive dangling red testicles, 100% for sure.
Wait,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Turtles don't have
His-
testicles. They're
well,
just
this
inside their
robot
tail.
does.
But this is a robot.
He has massive
No,
dangling
they're
red
If
testes.
this was another game, I would
It's a
probably.
loincloth. It's a
If
loincloth.
this was another
It's a
game, I would
loincloth.
probably
I'm
write off
with
as a
Jim.
loincloth. But it is very clearly balls. Very, very clearly. They get shown
Listeners.
so many times.
It does look like balls in a
gross.
sprite.
I
but-
think it's a loincloth.
I'm with you, Vanessa.
Hold on. I'm gonna put a picture in the chat.
Oh, okay. I was
This
Googling it.
does look like testicles on this sprite.
Yeah, and like during the idle animation, it stands there rocking back and forth.
Taro Emo. I forgot the name of the turtle. It's Taro Emo. He was originally called Taro Kichi. This seems to be like a food joke that we don't really get. Because, no, look, come on, guys. It's, yeah, you can even see that it had a little Japanese character on the loincloth. You guys are sickos. What is wrong
I don't know
with
why.
you?
I don't know why I would feel the need to do that because I would not assume that the robot had a dick. Like, they put the loincloth there to hide the penis, but why would the robot have a penis?
Yeah, but in the concept art, it's like a flat flag, and in the sprite art, it's shaped like a pair of truck nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like blowing in the
100%.
wind. It's just got some
I read it
texture.
as, even with just the regular sprite art, to me it just looked like a loincloth. You're just a sicko.
What are you talking
Maybe
about?
maybe his turtle robo balls are so big they're like up against the front or the back of the loincloth,
yeah,
and you can
yeah,
see the
maybe.
impression of them.
Yeah, that can make sense.
And it's important to note
Or
that
he's
I
got like
personally
dangling
believe that.
bowling balls as well.
It's important for me to note that I personally believe that the character art is what's. No, I'm sorry. What's the opposite of last time? I personally believe that the pixel art is what's most important. Not the character,
Not the
art,
character art?
like the one that showed. It looked like she had a space helmet on her head. Just picking and choosing. I would not fit in on Star
So-
Trek. You know what I mean?
We've now got this. Yeah, look, that's a loincloth. I don't see balls
It's
there.
not. It's
You are-
dingly dangly
You
testicles.
just got balls on the brain. You love
don't have
those
balls
brown
on the brain.
boys. You're just accusing Mr.
what about
Saturn
Matt?
of
Matt
looking
doesn't
like a
have balls on the
testicle.
brain.
Balls
Now
so
you're saying
little.
that this loincloth looks like a testicle. Anyway, let's move
The
on.
only thing I think looks like testicles are these dangly wangly balls.
And Mr. Saturn.
Anyway, we
And
turn a
Mr.
turtle into
Saturn.
a robot, and then the robot turtle is our best friend for the rest of this game.
Yay!
He kind of sucks,
What
though.
a
I
great
guess you can
companion.
like level him up, but I read a guide that said don't do that.
Yeah, I read that after I used all those items to level him up, so whoops. But I did get him all those cool weapon attachments that, like, there's one that one-shots almost everything.
Yeah, you can use
The,
those on a certain
the
character
bird
later as well,
cannon?
apparently. And oh really?
Yes.
I don't think I got one called the bird cannon.
Yeah,
I
it's
made a
the
bunch of
chick-
weapons for sure.
it's the chick launcher.
Ooh, maybe I do have the
So-
chick launcher.
I got the chick launcher. It's great. Unfortunately, Watanabe did get abducted by some bikers, And Miss Tycho is there crying for... So they call Lawless, like, 8 different names. I can't... Like, one's, like, Maso, and one's, like, Lawless, and then she's got a different name for him, and she's like, why aren't you coming to help me? But they run off
She's
with...
got the hots for Lawless, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, they're dating. Like it says in their character profile there. Those two definitely
That's the
dating.
character profiles. Wow. That's dedication. I'm impressed.
It's true. So you follow Watanabe and these evil bikers. What was the name of the biker gang? The Crusaders, right? Yeah.
Yes, the Crusaders.
You follow them
And
to
they all have
the
skull
warehouse
helmets on.
district. They look pretty cool. And then you have to follow Watanabe and the Skull Helmet Man, like, as they run around, sort of Scooby-Doo style, around this map. You gotta chase them until you finally corner them. And you're about to attack, but then who shows up but Lawless? And it's pretty rad. Or is he already there? You might have taken his motorcycle. I can't remember. But, you know.
I
you guys-
don't remember either. I'm afraid.
You
I'm
guys
sorry.
fight these fellas, and you rescue Watanabe, and then Lawless is like, tell me where you're located and what you're doing. And they say they'll never tell you, but you can use your psychic powers to find out that they are they're abducting boys for the Tsukaba Lab, which happens to be like 2 blocks away from the orphanage.
They pronounce it scuba.
Oh, Scuba Lab? Okay.
Yeah.
The Scuba Lab. So the Lawless heads out there, and you follow quickly behind. I guess he makes fun of you if you go in through the front door. Is there a way to not go in through the front door, or is that just...
I think you have to go into the front door.
Okay. So he sneaks around back, I guess, but meanwhile you, the true hero, go in through the front door.
You can tell.
I liked these fights here. I liked fighting the agent guys because there's some that are really weak. I don't know if you guys did any grinding here, but I got my Akira to like level 14 or 15.
I got him to 13.
And he got this ability called like heavenly. No, not heavenly something. It's like it just does a physical, like a really strong physical attack on one target, but it does like 200
yeah.
damage. So it can one shot.
I had that by the end. It was
like
called
that-
like Heavenly Strike or something.
Heavenly,
It was
yeah,
okay.
something like that.
He
But
gets some
it was
fucking
so
great
powerful.
powers. Like he gets.
I like Mother's
I
Shame.
His moveset.
Mother's Shame is good.
Everyone thinks about their mothers and
How
feels shame
sad they
about
would
what
be.
they're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
I got a second, like, because one of the attacks that you get is like a demon one. I got a second demon one, but forgot to use it.
Oh, that one's like, I think that's just a one target, while the other one's everyone to the left and right. So the first demon
Yeah.
attack's more useful, mostly in cleaning out bad guys.
I like the mobs in this one too because there's usually
Leader,
one
yeah.
character that has a little flat. Yeah, leader. You kill the leader. It wipes
Well,
out
really,
field.
the game, by the end of this
I like
chunker,
that.
is bending over backwards to put things between you and the leader so that you will have to do something
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
than immediately eliminate the leader, because that is a big chunk of this chunker.
I would always try to just put everyone to sleep first if there was like 5 or 6 people on the screen, because like that sleep spell that you have hits the entire field. So you can do the sleep attack, and it won't hit everybody, but it hits enough people to where you can safely move your characters around the enemies. For the most part.
I liked using the that chick launcher. It just drops a bunch of really weird looking round chicks on something. It's just like a whole stream of them, and then it does tons and tons of damage unless they are. Well, even if they can defend against it, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I
It
noticed
generally
that-
does like 200 damage.
I noticed that with some, not quite that high, but I noticed that with some attacks where even if they were resistant, it was still knocking the shit out of their health. Even more so sometimes in attacks that they were vulnerable to. Vulnerable. I said vulnerable.
How did
Very
you guys
recyclable.
give the robot different attacks?
If you
didn't.
so you have to go to the
Me either.
you have to go to the doctor and then give him items and then make all those different like launchers
Oh,
and
I guess I
lasers
just.
and stuff.
Oh, see, I didn't. Well, I think maybe I got a laser, but I never equipped it on my
There's
robot.
also
but I did.
enemies drop machine parts, machine upgrades, and if you use
But that
those
just
to increase his
increases-
stats, yeah, it's like a level up.
His
Yeah,
HP and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but it doesn't
His
give
HP.
extra.
HP and
you
his
should be
attack.
using. You should. After I used all 10 of those, the guide was like, "Don't forget to save those for the next, for 2
I did the
chunkers
same
from
thing,
now."
but I just reloaded my save and didn't use them. I had to replay like 30
I wasn't
minutes,
gonna
but it
redo
was fine.
anything.
I think I have a bunch in my
Yeah, if you
inventory.
didn't use them, then you'll
Yeah,
have
so then you
you'll have a
use them for
shitload.
Because I think I used like 3 of them, but I did a ton of grinding because I wanted to see how high I could level my character up, and I got up to 14 before. I was like, all right, I need to finish this.
So you finally meet the villains. There's an evil doctor who's great. He's also a big proponent of liquefaction. You do go find all these liquefaction tubes, and you like can hear people saying like, "Help me" from the liquefacted
Yeah.
remains.
It's very grim.
Yeah.
There's a general, a beefy bear general, and there is a guy dressed like a bird.
To me, this felt
He's a
like
priest.
a bunch of bosses, like the Edo era Japan chunker, but then that doesn't happen. That
Yeah.
does not pay off.
Yeah, this is we confront the scientists, and And they're like, oh yeah, try to fight this big robot that we have, the Unit W1, and then you do it. I died to this fight at first, and then I was looking up a guide, because this guy wrecked me, and it's like, oh, if you get behind him and use your elbow strike, it one-shots him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I one-shot him, and I didn't read that guide. I just did that, and then I was like, I don't understand what happened here. But
Yeah, if you move your character behind him, do the elbow strike, and he does like a vaporize counter that kills him.
that's what I mean. That makes so much more sense now.
So, he does say before you fight the W1 bot, like it's a big mech, sort of an Ed 209 thing, does say, like, oh, but you are, and then afterwards, tell my son I love him, or something like that.
Yeah, that's Watanabe's dad.
It's Watanabe's dad.
And then again.
And he explodes into, like, orange guts all over the room.
Oh, yeah, it's like on the walls.
Real Robocopy.
I got confused, though, at the end of this chunker. We'll talk about it when we get there. I don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah, so you get out of the lab, and the orphanage is on fire.
What? No.
Isn't it?
You go.
Why not?
You have to go to the bar.
That's before.
The bar leads straight into the
Was it?
orphanage.
Oh,
on
you're
fire.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, first you go to the scientist, and he's like, check out what I have in the basement. And you go down into his basement, down, and he has a Ultron down there.
That's way earlier.
And he's like,
This, let's just.
And it makes us do that whole thing where it's like, touch a mask,
I was
pray,
like,
pee, wash
is
your
this
hands.
is this a Taskmaster task? That's what I
it
thought.
should be. Yeah.
The touch the pink elephant, then read a passage from the
Well,
book,
it's important
then
to
play the xylophone.
Even though this happened much earlier, we did this Taskmaster thing to get access to the Ultron, and the Ultron will not work for us, even though we are super psychic boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know we're the main
I have a
character because
question.
of his Yu-Gi-Oh hair.
He looks kind of like Chrono. I have a question. So the evil doctor that we confront in the lab, his name is Dr. Livingstill. Is that a play on a character in something that I should recognize? Like, is that a play on words?
Dr.
Yeah.
Livingston? Is that,
Dr.
that's the only-
Livingston, I presume.
I guess that's not a good joke.
It's not a good joke.
It's not.
Does this game have good jokes?
But it is a
What jokes
reference.
are good?
Yeah.
The whole Watanabe and his dad
Yeah.
joke makes me laugh every time.
Oh, so
So-
you think that a man and his child dying is a joke? That's good to know.
Yes.
Especially after like 9 times. So I also really liked when you go to pray. He did say silently pray at the Steel King, but he
yeah.
vocally prays. And I thought after doing like going up a very long flight of stairs, I thought you were gonna get back after the doctor would be like, "I said silently pray," but no. And I guess there's some point. This is before the orphanage is on fire. This is all a blur. Where Kaori, where they're talking about how Chrono Akira can't actually pilot the mech, and he's like, "Yeah, I think we need to liquefy someone."
Yeah.
And Kaori's like, "I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll liquefy
What the
myself."
Yeah, she's like, I'm always sick anyway. I'd be so much better as liquid.
I 100% thought that's where this was going. I took a screenshot of it. I posted on Twitter saying, "What? No." But,
So did Lawless just will himself to
It
have
said
psychic
that he-
powers?
yeah, it was no. He ate a bunch of.
He drank a bunch of the mango lights. Mango lights.
Yeah, he had too much soda. If you go to the bar,
That's all they want is the mango.
yeah, all they
Mantango.
want is the mango. Mantango.
Matango.
Yeah, all they want is
Matango.
Matango, and you can listen to their thoughts, and they'll be like, Matango makes the pain go away.
So he gets real
We love
high,
Matango.
and that's what lets him be psychic?
I guess. And it does make him like Super Saiyan, and he's able to control the robot. I guess. But then he can't do. Well, first he tries and he can't do it. So that's when you go find him at the bar, and he's very depressed about not being able to control the robot. So when you get outside the bar, that's when you find that the orphanage is under attack, and Lawless runs away to go try and pilot the thing again. And this time he's downing a bunch of Matango. Listeners, please write in and tell me what Matango is, because I'm not going to Google it.
I love to Google things. What are you talking about?
I'm just
The
not.
Googler. That's what they call you online. Johnny the Googler, Brandon.
Matango is a 1963 Japanese horror film.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Thanks,
Sure,
George.
that makes
So
sense.
they're eating horror film.
And
The orphanage is on fire, and everybody's dead, and you have to run inside and save children.
who are you trying to save?
There's 2
Kaori?
kids, Kaori, and there's another one.
The other one.
John, what'd you say this genre of thing is?
Oh, that's tokusatsu.
Matango is one of tokusatsu.
Oh,
Yeah, Matango is a 1963 tokusatsu horror film.
huh.
It's a loose adaptation of the 1907 short story The Voice in the Night by William Hope Hodgson. And it stars Akira Kubo.
It
Yeah.
all ties together.
I like how pop culture-y this game is. You don't usually see that in RPGs.
Except for like those working designs ones where they'd be like, because it's translated by English translators
Yeah.
from America. They'd be like, "Oh, yeah, this is just like Bill Clinton would do. Something Bill Clinton would do."
I like the I think the references are well integrated. Like I'm delighted at having learned this little thing about Matango.
So you head inside, you rescue the 2 kids, but you get stuck because the building's starting to crumble. However, Lawless piloting the Steel King smashes through the wall like a Kool-Aid man, and you see Steel King's glinting eyes,
Pretty cool.
which is one of my favorite pieces of animation. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I love that.
That is a doofy-looking robot, though.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be. Like, that's what those those old tokusatsu and anime robots look like. Like, we talked about I think the first anime robot on the show before, and it is very silly. Gigantor, I think, is the American version that we all know.
That's right.
And
Yeah, we have heard
very
about
silly.
that. I love his stupid little crown.
I think it's great.
His moveset is super dope.
I love his
it.
flashing eyes. That makes me laugh every
Yes.
time. So this giant mech crashes through the wall, and we should mention that the way to get inside the mech is to stand on the toilet, and the toilet, I guess, like moves or teleports to the back of the robot.
That's an elevator. It's like a
Voltron
Voltron elevator-style elevator.
Toilet Vader.
So, one thing that's very strange is this robot was found by Dr. Tobey under the city. It had been there the whole time. It's not something he made. This is like an ancient artifact from, like, I guess, like a... Well, what's the Chrono Trigger? Zeed?
Like a Lavos?
Zeal.
Yeah.
Zeal. Yeah. It's like a Zeal thing.
One thing that I do wish is I wish there were little Easter eggs tying the chapters together. I think you get a reference in the distant future to the near future.
Yes.
But you don't get a lot of that in the other ones. I wish there were more Easter eggs like referencing other chapters.
Kato
Like,
has
maybe
a Steel King
Maybe you find a
figure.
fossil of Pogo or something. That would be fun.
So,
Oh wait, what'd you just say, John?
Kato has a Steel King figure on his shelf.
Yeah, those are the only two that I can think of that reference each other, is near future and distant future. But I don't remember any of the other chapters having references to any of the other ones.
That's because people are ignorant about history. What do you know about Edo Japan? Nothing.
Well, okay then. Excuse me.
So it's not realistic to have people reference stuff that happened in the past, because we don't know.
I did learn get a cool item from being slapped by the teacher at one point. I thought that was fun.
What?
Oh, I didn't get that one.
It's if you, like, keep going into the bathroom and keep getting Watanabe to steal more things, the teacher eventually runs in and finds you doing that and then slaps you and you get that
Oh, wait, I
slap
did get
as a
that one.
weapon.
Oh, yeah, I did
Yeah.
as
I
well.
think you have to.
I did get some cool items from the upgrade, so I was excited
Yeah,
for
me
that.
too. I got all those launchers and stun guns and stuff.
I didn't get any of that. I just got like accessories and armor.
Well,
like
you
the
put
full
them
body
as
types.
accessories on the robot, and the robot then gets special moves.
Like it gave me some sweats, and then I upgraded the sweats to better sweats, and
Oh,
then
I
I got
didn't
some I got some b-ball kicks, and then I upgraded the b-ball kicks to steel-toed boots.
Nice.
And then I got a punk jacket that I upgraded to a better punk jacket. I don't remember what it's called.
Do you like
But
that
I didn't get any
Lawless
weapons, I don't
has
think.
basically a Drive Scorpion jacket?
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess Lawless is like, even since this predates Tekken, Lawless is like the proto-Paul from...
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I can see that.
Also, the punk jacket
Alright.
definitely transforms into the wrestling belt.
Ooh,
That's right.
Some stuff transforms
I didn't
into
get any of
multiple
those.
things, and you have to try multiple times.
I thought it was kind of annoying when I would give him a piece of armor and it would transform into an accessory. I was like, I don't want that. I want
Also,
that
a lot of
armor.
the, like, food
I guess
stuff
you
that
could,
you
like,
collect,
save scum it.
like a lot of the food
Yeah.
stuff you collect, you can transform into that like best potion, but you have to
Potion number
transform it, like,
9.
3 times sometimes. Like, oh, you've got the next thing up. Oh, great, now you've got the next thing up.
Well, unless when you're at the takoyaki stand, when you're working that with Lawless, depending on like different customers will come, and if you charge them the correct amount, anywhere
Yeah.
from like 100 yen to like 1,000 yen,
It's 100
10,000
yen
yen
to
maybe.
10,000 yen. 100, 300,
Yeah, and if you
1,000, 10,000.
and when you get the 10,000 yen one correct, you get a really good item that will, with just one upgrade, transform into potion number 9.
I missed the bullshit
so-
minigame?
Yes, so
man.
like, yeah, we can talk about it in your corner, but I thought it was really fun.
All right.
And also like limitless. You could just do it over and over and over and over again.
You go into the Steel King, and Lawless is having problems controlling it. He can barely move. He's exerting too much to control this robot, and unfortunately, he seems to be dying. And you're like, "Hey, I'll take over." And then you go Super Saiyan, and then I love that. All your clothes start floating and stuff. Oh, it's really cool. And Lawless is like, "Hey, there's something I gotta tell you before you help me. Remember your dad? I shot him. He's gonna shoot me. We used to be friends, but I used to be part of this army, and I dropped out of the army because the general was too bad.
He was in the Crusaders. He was the head of Crusaders.
Yeah, he was also in the army before that. He was the head of that gang, the Crusaders.
You know, I
And
don't
he
remember
joined-
him. I don't remember him being like, "Hey, I gotta tell you a secret." I remember reading his mind.
Oh, yeah, I think he told you to read his mind or something.
Oh, did
Yeah, he knew you were reading his mind, I think.
Yeah. So,
I've been watching
you take over.
Square Root's official show of the podcast, The Challenge, while I was playing this part of the game.
Oh, okay. You take over, and I just have 80s commercials on while I'm playing this mostly, or like some video game stuff. You take over, and you're smacking down planes, you're crushing tanks. There's these weird airships that you knock over. Oh, it's amazing. What a cool robot. I can't believe Jim called this chunker boring.
I said the middle part.
I thought it boring as well.
I like
it was
this part.
boring. Like, it had a few highlights.
I also think it was boring.
Why was it boring, Vanessa?
It was boring because it dragged too long.
It also didn't really, like, the most fun, I think every chapter up to this point has had a gimmick. Like, first chapter, there was no
This
dialogue.
definitely had a
Second
gimmick.
one, it was kill or no kill.
It's a giant robot
this one has a
gimmick
gimmick.
and a psychic gimmick.
But
true.
it's not as novel as kill or no kill or no combat or set traps to avoid. It was all in the combat. You know what I mean? Psychic powers and giant robot. It didn't feel as special as the other ones.
I mean, it's
I still
certainly,
liked
you know, all of these chapters are homages to things, but this one certainly felt the most familiar,
Yeah.
which does attract, I think, in a way.
Really, I thought this one felt like all of the other chapters had the scope of the story was very small. It's like we're in an old west town. There are people coming. We gotta set traps, or we gotta assassinate this guy, or
I mean, like,
It
we
just
killed,
felt the most
some
like
gods.
a-
We already killed like 3 gods. So, robot
This
fight,
one felt the most like a NES era RPG.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
very
intentional.
yeah.
basic RPG.
I think.
yeah. This one just felt a little more
Yeah.
overwritten. I think.
I mean, look,
compared to
it
the
looks
other
great.
ones. Yeah.
It's got some
does.
great
It looks
highlights.
great.
It's not the best chunker.
Got a
And
good
it's
song.
fun.
It has a great,
got a
it has a
great
great
song.
opening, and it's very. I really liked the theme that plays at the beginning because it is like only 15 seconds long, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was gearing up and it was going to keep going, and I was like, oh boy, and then it ended. And
Maybe my
Snaps
problem
from
is I
that,
think
yeah.
the protagonist is boring. I think the protagonist and all these are good. This one has the most boring protagonist.
Yeah, he's not.
I mean,
Yeah.
too bad he's not super horny like the first protagonist.
That's
too
all
bad.
Pogo wants to do is bust a nut.
He's a
love it.
caveman.
Pogo would be great at that, like, target shooting task.
But
Yeah.
Faux Ayla also wanted to get her inside stirred like a bowl of macaroni and cheese, so she was
Oh.
fine with it.
I don't like it when I make macaroni and cheese and I stir it and it makes that squelchy noise.
But that's what that song WAP says. It sounds like when she gets banged,
Oh.
and that song's all about women's liberation.
Well, that's all well and good, but I don't care for that sound personally.
Okay, it's a great. I never noticed that live. I was listening to that song on Spotify the other day. I was like, what?
So we get to fly around the city in our giant robot, which is pretty fun. There are tanks and planes that attack you, and you get to fight them off with your giant robot powers, which are all awesome. This part is very short, which I appreciate. A and B is very cool. Like, it's great. You get to do your.
It's cool.
So you get to the temple where the one priest, the one dressed like a bird, is like, he apparently has filled this lake with liquefied boys.
Mm-hmm, and
Liquefacted
girls.
Cool, cool.
Oh.
Did we
And
reveal that the
he's like-
Crusaders were kidnapping boys to be liquefied? That's a big plot point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Are
that
they
is-
only
that's
kidnapping
pretty
boys?
cool.
I
I
thought
don't
they would
know. I thought
kidnap
it was
any
boys.
gender.
John said boys,
It could be
so
just kids
I'm
in
just
general.
listening to John.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm sorry. It could be just children in general. The lake is full of children, and the bird priest is like, I will now. We're sacrificing you to Odio. Please form into the great Inko, which is like a big bird.
It is a big bird.
There's a big bird statue that comes to life.
This fight is very silly.
It's like Ghostbusters too.
Pretty great.
This whole thing is Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it was. That's the sprite of the big thing looks so cool.
Yeah, I love the big bird. So you fight
Yeah.
the big bird, very easy boss fight. You just wreck it. That's the great Inko, and then that's basically it. Unfortunately, the liquefacted bodies of the children do kill all the bad guys. So you don't have to kill the bad guys. So that's great. But then they start leaking into the ship, and it looks like it's all over for Akira and maybe Lawless, who could still
He's
be
still alive.
I don't know.
He's
Yeah, he's
talking to you a
alive.
little bit throughout this. Yeah,
Okay.
he just got exhausted.
just real
or
high.
whatever, right?
Sure.
Like me.
I was dead. And cut to Akira waking up on a park bench and then going to make takoyaki for the kids, and everyone's real happy. And I was like, is this all a dream? But no. You then see Robot, Turtle hanging out with Kaori, and I don't know if you see
Oh, I
do you
didn't.
see Lawless
I didn't
again?
get
feel
that.
like
So
you
I
don't.
got the.
I
I got
don't
the waking up on
remember.
the bench, and I was like, wait, what? Was this a fucking dream?
Yeah. But you definitely see the Turtle Man and Steel
No, all I
King.
saw was the save because I held down the trigger to skip scene.
Oh, Vanessa,
I do that
did
most
you
of the
watch
time.
all the credits and see?
Not great.
Did you
I
see
let
all
the credits play. Did I
Mm-hmm.
watch them?
Yeah, because it shows that. If I don't
If you let
remember
them play,
seeing
you
Lawless,
watch them.
I feel like he was dead. No.
I don't remember seeing Lawless. I'll say that much.
Yeah, and that's the end of that chunker. So,
Whew.
Man, that one was long.
let's talk. Yeah, that was a longer one, but Distant Future, it's short, it's great.
Distant Future's fucking fantastic.
I think the best
Best chunker of the
it's
game?
the best chunker, and I
Oh,
really
man.
liked the Wild West. But I
Yeah.
think this is maybe I don't know. Wild West is a little shorter and sweeter, maybe.
No,
But this one's pretty
maybe it is. I'm not
good.
saying that you're wrong, but I think this one's better. Because the Wild West has the middle of the game is a mini game gimmick, and that sucks.
I like a minigame.
Check it out.
But I also liked this. It's the distant future. A
I
man
am
awakens
the
from
Eggman.
cryogenic sleep on a ship.
I am the Eggbot.
And so
Cuckoo.
immediately I thought, is this going to be an alien thing? Because they talk about in the opening title crawl, it says the ship carrying a dangerous biological entity. I was like, is this going to be an alien or is this going to be a 2001? Because there's like a red glowing light every time the computer talks.
Or is it going to be an Among Us?
Or is it going to be a Freddy versus Jason?
Nothing is going to be a Freddy versus Jason.
What if it's going to be a
Stop
Jason X?
suggesting it. That
So-
Destiny's Child doesn't come in and use homophobic slurs.
So this lone man wakes up and he decides to build to himself a beep boop
He's
robot.
on like a, what are they on, like a multi-month journey? And he'd been woken up from cryo sleep early because he's the engineer or something. You know how Miles O'Brien always gets woken up early in Star Trek when they get there? Because
Yeah.
they're all in cryostasis between episodes?
He was in jail for 100 years. And it's fine. Give that man that.
That was such a weird episode, and then it's like you can't mentally come back from
No,
that.
and then
they're
he just
like,
shows back up like 2
he'll be
weeks later and
fine.
he's back to normal. You know what? That man started off in TNG somehow.
I guess they have that good future therapy. He probably saw Deanna
Yeah,
Troy.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
She can read your emotions, so that makes her better at therapizing.
Going through therapy after that he's going to need a lot of therapy. And then they just never mentioned it again.
Well, I mean, we don't
So-
need to be in on his... Therapy sessions don't have to be
So,
adventures,
Beep
John.
Boop Robot, he makes a cute robot that is round.
Egg.
And he's like, you're
Eggbot.
round, I should call
Eggbot.
you Roundy.
He looks like an egg.
And he's like, wait, no, that's stupid. I like irony. Engineers love ironic humor. Let's call you Cube. What do you think? And I left it as Cube. What did you call your robot Eggbot?
I don't appreciate being ignored. He's an eggbot. Everybody needs to talk about how he's an egg.
Yeah.
He's an egg with a red and backwards cap on.
I literally was asking you, is that what you called your
Well,
egg?
no, I called it cube because I'm lazy.
Oh, okay. So this egg does wear... He looks like Dizzy, kind of. Reminds me of those Dizzy games. And he's wearing a backwards red hat.
It looks like the Tiny Toons character, I think is the Tasmanian devil son that's in an egg.
Dizzy?
No, Dizzy's not an egg.
It's
Are you
Dizzy.
thinking of
It's-
U.S. Acres? Sheldon?
I am.
U.S. Acres?
I'm thinking of Sheldon from U.S. Acres.
I'm thinking of young Sheldon.
Why?
Oh, no.
Always thinking about young Sheldon.
I'm still thinking about those turtle testicles.
I bet you are.
Well, you're a beep boop robot. That's the important thing. You're an eggbot.
Yep. There's no combat in this chunker, sort of.
Well, spoilers.
I like it.
No, I'm just saying, sort of. There is a little game you can play. It's practice
There is
combat.
combat. You do have to fight a last
Captain
boss. and it's a
Square.
bummer.
How far did you guys get in the
Didn't play
arcade?
it at
thing?
all.
I beat it.
Earth. I got to
can
Earth
beat
and I
it?
couldn't figure. Well, because there's a red fire that you have to beat on. You have to destroy on Earth, and that one was
Yeah.
hard because
You have to let the blue fires kill the other fire, and then you can kill the blue fires.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You have to let the blue
Ugh.
ones make a lot of blue squares, and then it takes out the red one really fast, and then you can take out the blue one.
Ugh.
I couldn't beat the one after that.
The one with
I
all
think that's one is
the
Jupiter.
like discs. Is that it?
No, the one with all the like monster men in it.
Are these
Yeah,
all combat?
there's
all the
Was
lightning
every
guys.
single level that you're talking about like a fight?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's like elemental combat too, which is what wrecked me on that last one because they were all lightning guys, and I had nothing to counter them, and they kept getting healed on their lightning squares, so they killed me, and then I just
You-
gave up.
You can
I think
turn the
there's
lightning
just
squares
one
to
in
You
fire.
have
that
to use
one.
Mother's Shame.
No, they're
You have
all
to use
lightning
Mother's
guys.
Shame.
I mean, one that you have to kill.
Oh, maybe you're right. I killed 2 of them, and I was like, why is this so hard?
You have to use Mother's Shame, and then you sneak by them with your mirror.
So, this guy Kato, he's the engineer. He's designed you. He seems very likable, very affable, and he's like, well, little buddy, why don't
Little
I-
one?
Uh,
Let's call him Little Buddy.
Little-
Let's talk about how creepy it is every
Buddy.
time he says, Little one.
Yeah.
I love the dialogue in this chapter is so
Mm-hmm.
melodramatic. Like it's so soap opera-y. I loved it. Loved it.
So you wake up the rest of the crew. Let's do a roll call. Vanessa, you start. Who's the rest of the crew?
Kirk.
Rachel.
Yeah, but tell us about him.
Bishop.
I thought we were signing off.
Kirk is like the brash captain kind of guy.
He's not the captain. He's the...
Yeah, but he's like a Captain Kirky type.
I think you just inferred that because his name is Kirk. He's not the captain.
No,
And
no,
he's
they
a
do
Captain
say-
Kirky type.
They say
and
that.
his favorite
Oh,
saying
that's
is
a good
warp
point.
speed.
You're right. I'm wrong. Warp speed.
So tell us about Rachel, Matthew.
Rachel's a manic pixie dream girl that's in love with Kirk.
She's a bit more manic.
And used to
than
be in
Keith.
love with Hugo.
Huey. Huey. I think I missed
Huey.
it. It's Huey.
I think aren't all of these names references to sci-fi?
I'm sure they
properties?
are.
I don't- Like I know that Kato is, which I think is a Gundam character. Kirk is Star Trek, obviously.
Bishop is alien. Darth is
Bishop
Star Wars.
alien.
Is
Star
Rachel
Wars.
Blade Runner?
Oh yeah, Rachel is the replicant woman in Blade Runner. Yeah, that's. But I don't know about Huey.
Dewey and
Trumbull.
Louie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll-
Trumbull sounds.
Darth, I guess Star
Sci-fi.
Wars, right? We're the mercenary. Okay, yeah.
Well, he's not a mercenary. He's a military guy.
Well, sure.
He works for the government.
Bishop is the captain. He's the captain. You don't really get to see a lot of him. Darth, mercenary. He hates clanks, which is future for slut, and does keep calling the robot a stupid, dirty slank. Sick gang.
Clank.
No, clank. I got it right.
This is very. It's very alien. It's very.
I did.
This is very
fucking love it.
Aliens though.
Slank.
When Ripley goes
Sure.
off on Bishop in Aliens for being synthetic, like it's a very Aliens dynamic where Darth does not trust you because you're a robot, just like how Ripley does not trust Bishop in Aliens because of her experiences with, I can't remember the name of the yes, with that android in Alien. So I thought this reference was very cool.
Ian McShane bot tried to kill me.
Ian McShane?
Wasn't that
It's
Ian?
Ian. It's a
No, it's
different Ian.
Mr. Bilbo Baggins. Ian
Holm.
Holm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Ian Holm, yeah, he plays the android in the first one, and then Lance
Hendrickson plays Bishop.
Hendrickson plays Bishop. Bishop is one of my favorite characters in all of like sci-fi.
So you're on this big freighter, the Cognito Ergo Sum, and
What does that mean, by the way?
I think, therefore, I am.
Is that really what it means?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a Descartes. And that's piloted by a AI whose name you don't find out till later is OD10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it Decimus,
Right.
which is very cool because most of it's mostly numbers in the name. Yeah, I'm doing jazz fingers. It's mostly numbers in the name, like 0, and then there's a D, but then 1, 0. It's I like the Decimus has to do with numbers. I like the creativity in the name.
Yeah, it's fun. And so you wake up the whole crew, and then you get them coffee.
And coffee's a real thing that motivates these crew
It's
members.
weird how many times
Part of
it
the
makes you
coffee
do this.
generation.
It's crazy.
Coffee makes you a coffee achiever. It helps you reach your goal. So the weirdest thing, if you say are playing this and watching 1980s commercials like I was, is there's an ad campaign in the early 80s introducing America to coffee. Even though coffee's still been around for decades or centuries. They're like, you're part of the coffee generation. It's not even an ad from a brand of coffee. It's just the concept. It's an ad for literally coffee.
Okay, I mean,
It's
weird because it's like
it's so weird.
you're part of the generation that's hooked on this, right? Where you have to have it every day. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
The 80s were fucking weird. How do you go from introducing the concept of coffee to Folgers crystals all in the 80s? You know what I mean? Like, or were the crystals early
I
90s?
feel like the crystals were like a 60s, 50s, 60s thing.
The
and that
Folgers
was-
crystals?
Yeah, because that was like freeze dried, so like astronauts.
But like
you know.
SNL didn't spoof it until what? Chris Farley, which was like
Ooh, I
94,
figured it out.
95.
Well, but I think there was that ad camp. There was the Folgers ad campaign about those two people like falling in love and because that was like a
The
super famous.
incest ad.
No,
That was in, like, the early
no,
2000s.
the Anthony Stewart head ad with that lady, and they're like borrowing a cup of Folgers, and they're like
Oh.
you slowly. It's got the guy from Buffy, and they're like flirting with each other. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of like commercials.
The guy from Buffy, like the guy that plays
Distant
Angel?
future, Huey Trumbull's
No,
name
the guy who played
is
Giles.
derived from the
Yeah.
1972 environmental sci-fi movie Silent Running.
Oh,
Wait, what are we talking about?
Huey
Silent
Trumbull.
Running was a.
You know what I'm talking about is this
Oh.
fucking chunker and the sequence of events that happens. So let's
Because there's so many
get
references.
back to
Yeah,
that.
so
we
many
wake up the
references.
crew.
Let's
That's
talk
where we're
about
at.
getting coffee. Who did you
Yeah.
get coffee for? I got some for.
Do you get to pick?
Kept getting some for Hugo every time, or Huey every time. I don't know why.
I kept giving stuff to Kato or Kato.
I gave copy to
Yeah, I
Huey.
gave
Huey's really-
Kato the first time. No, I think I gave Huey because he needs to focus.
Oh, right, Huey is the first
give
one.
you
yeah.
a
I gave it to Rachel at one point too.
I gave her one when she wasn't.
Oh yeah, I
feeling
think it.
That's how you advance a plot is
Oh,
to give them
okay.
coffee.
So you give them
yeah.
coffee,
great. A lot of this is a coffee based.
and then we get a message from the captain. I think because we're all in the rec center. We get a message from the captain that he's not coming out of his room.
yep, he's like I'm very busy.
I want to come out, do your duties. So you're giving hints about where to go.
By
Like,
hints, you mean there's
they're like,
an
oh.
orange flag on the map that you should go to?
Yep.
yeah. The dialogue will also say like, oh, you can come to the bridge and watch me work if you want.
But you are free to explore the ship, and especially during the opening, half hour, you can go like talk to other people and sort of see what's going on. You can see the Behemoth, which does seem to be a Final Fantasy reference. That there's a Behemoth in the storage hold. I like that.
Yeah, that is cool.
So you go to the bridge though to see Rachel work, and she is the communications officer, and she's like, oh, the antenna is receiving messages but not sending any out.
The what?
The antenna.
Antenna?
The antenna.
Antenna?
Excuse me. Did you mean famous guitar player Carlos Santana?
Yeah, Carlos Santana.
No, these units are the Watanabe main unit, and then the
Love
Watanabe
that.
sub-unit.
And I love there's a piece of dialogue that you can get optionally here. It's not optional in a flashback later in the game, but Rachel tells you that they're designed to operate independently of one another, so if one dies, the other one is still functional. Which was like which is the best Watanabe joke in the entire game, I think. Love it.
Boy, these child death jokes are
So
great.
I guess they're gonna need to do a spacewalk if there's some antenna damage.
Yeah. But like he's out there immediately. Like Kirk is like, yeah, I'm going out there. I'm doing a spacewalk right now. Very brash.
And there's some dialogue you can get of Kato saying to Huey that he finds Kirk unsettling because he's so like driven and aggressive and just like takes what he wants, and he's like a type A, and Kato's nothing like that.
Sounds like a hot combination to me. Maybe they should kiss.
No, Kirk and Rachel have a thing going on. I don't know if you noticed.
I did, because she's, like, obsessed with him.
Well, I feel like it's because she's working. I feel like she kind of dated one person on the crew, and now is dating another person on the crew, and has to like keep bringing it up. It's like, oh, I'm so happy now with Kirk, my new boyfriend. He's so great. He's the greatest boyfriend, and we're dating. And she like
I
will
like
say
him
it
better than
loudly.
any boyfriend I've ever had.
And he always seems to be handling it okay for now. Unfortunately, there is a bit so that they start working on repairing the antenna, the communication array. But there's a problem with Kirk's suit. It seems to be it has a defect of some kind.
It says the life support system was sabotaged.
Bum-bum-bum.
Well, they figure that out after they bring Kirk inside, and unfortunately, he does die on the medbay table.
I was 100% sure because like when they bring him in, they take his suit off and they put him in like a hospital bed kind of thing in this like observing room, and his body convulses, which is so funny watching a sprite convulse, but it's a very chest-driven convulsion where like he leads with his chest and kind of bumps up a couple times. I was like, something's gonna pop out of this guy's chest.
I think that was because
I
they
thought
were
it was
like,
gonna be an alien thing.
They were doing the heart.
Were they defibrillating
Yeah, they
him?
were defibrillating.
Oh, I must have missed it. I thought he was just like going through his death throes.
And this is when the music starts. Because for the first 20 minutes or so, there's not really any music in this chunker. But when things start going wrong, the music starts up, and it's rad. I love the music for this chunker.
The like synthy, it's very John Carpenter-y, the music here.
It's almost like a noise or like a square wave for the percussion, which is like just like a static hit. It's like
Yeah,
Oh,
and you
it's
get
really
these
neat.
really deep synthy tones where it's like dom dom
Bra.
dom. It's very Carpenter-y.
Yeah.
Like right now Carpenter-y.
yeah, it's rad. I think
super cool.
That's when I messaged you. I was like, wow, Jim, I think you'll love the atmosphere in this chunker because that
Yes, as soon as that synth kicked in, I was like, oh, I'm down for this.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
It's pretty neat, and it does like even if the writing's melodramatic and corny, I found this really gripping. Like I didn't want to stop.
No,
playing
yeah,
this.
me too. Like even though the dialogue was really corny, it was like it was entertaining, and it made it. I think it heightened the atmosphere a little bit because like it makes you feel like you're in kind of a heightened reality. Because there's a scene towards the beginning where you first meet Kato, and you have to go down to the cargo hold to meet him, and he's fighting with Kirk and Rachel. And then Kirk and Rachel leave, and you're talking to Kato about what just happened, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess humans are more complicated than machines, aren't they?" And it's like that's so hammy and corny, but also so entertaining and neat. It's very smart writing.
And there's some really cool cutaways to just like the creepy lights around the doorways and stuff.
It doesn't
that
look
are
like
really
cameras.
nice.
those like
Yeah.
yes, those like POV shots of going down the hallway. And there's one shot, I think it's like right around here, where it cuts to what looks like a security camera feed in a hallway, and most of it's dark, and there's like a door illuminated in a box. Very creepy, and does a lot to establish kind of the tone of what's going on. I really like this a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, not a lot happens in this
It's
chunker.
crazy. What you're saying is wrong. Kirk
although-
dies. That's where we're at. And then the madness happens.
Well, no, but I mean,
Well, this is weird. Like, was Kirk actually dead? Did Rachel move
Yes.
his dead body?
yeah, she.
Oh, that's so macabre. I thought she saw him breathing or something, and
Nope,
then he died later.
no. She takes his because you can look optionally. You can look at his body, and there's like a description of how his blood seems to have fled.
Oh,
his
man.
it fled his body as if wanting to flee
you're like
the
he's
ship.
getting paler by the minute.
Yeah.
Like that's a good point, John. Like the robot's observations of things you can examine are pretty bleak, honestly. Like the way the robot describes things, especially other characters and things that are happening, are bleak as hell, actually. Like they're very cut and dry in scientific terms and very kind of cynical. I
So-
think. I like
So
it.
you're trying to find
Yeah, well,
Rachel. She's in her
Kirk
room.
dies, and then I don't know what happened here. It asked me. I know what happened here, but it told me. He kind of tells you like you can go check on Rachel if you want, but the flag just took me. But I'll be on the bridge. But the flag just took me to Kato. Can you go talk to her?
Yeah.
What did she say?
I did. She was just curled up in her bed, and she's like, I can't believe
Oh.
it.
I didn't do that.
Like I did that, but like the thing that kept me from exploring the ship
It's
more
huge.
was I felt like I was getting lost
There's
all
a
the
map.
time.
How can it flashes in the room that you're in?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I just felt like, especially in the barracks section, I couldn't. Maybe because I was like, so. I don't know if you guys saw me try to play Alien Isolation.
When you ran around in a circle
Yeah,
over
when
and over.
when there's a thing that I think is gonna chase me, I
Well,
panic.
it
and I
doesn't
can't
happen for
remember
a while.
anything. So that's when I stopped exploring.
You panicked so much, and you're like, where do I go? Where do I go? And kept running in the same circle. It was so glorious.
There was like a circle with like 4 rooms around it, and I went in every single one over and over again. trying to
We
hide
did forget to
from
mention that at one point Kato and I think Kirk take you to a room that has like a viewing room for like a cage that has a behemoth in it. It's very much a Final
Yeah.
Fantasy behemoth,
That's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
which is pretty great.
That's
And you
pretty
can like listen to it,
Yeah.
yell,
And
it
also
hits you.
has an honestly terrifying scream. It has this sound effect they got for the behemoth is pretty scary.
But everyone's like, don't worry, as long as it's safely in this containment facility, you have nothing to worry about as long as it
Okay,
stays in
then.
there.
So you go, it kind of does this thing where like you go to the bridge and talk to Kato, and he's like, everything's fine, and you just kind of like wander, I think. But it takes you to back to the medical bay, and Kirk's body is gone. So you go back to
You have to
Kato.
tell Kato
you go
about
back
it.
to Kato and tell him that the body's
Yeah.
gone. And then, where do we find the body?
Yeah.
It's in Rachel's room. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she puts him in his room.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, is that
back
it?
in Kirk's room.
Yeah, it's in his room because it's his computer that's there that you need to hack.
Oh, right, yeah.
You get the body's in Kirk's room, and if you explore, you can find out that there's a message from Kirk saying like, "I'm still alive. Come get me." Right?
I was sure that this was Rachel's
No, it's Kirk's room for sure. Because this is the same room
No,
you
it's
find the
his room,
memory
yeah.
card in.
Yeah.
All right. But she's like, I'll go bake you some cookies. Finally, we're going to go have that beautiful vacation together. It's going to be amazing. And everyone comes in and they're like, Rachel, this is a bit weird.
I feel like this, like I guess it's earlier on, but like this, the character-driven stuff here is really like, with the no combat, you realize at some point around here or before that like you're just kind of in for like a movie, and like all of these people's crazy behavior is.
And actually, Vanessa compared this part to Colonel's Bequest. And it is very Colonel... Just this one scene's very Colonel's Bequest. Remind me a lot of a certain
Wow,
character in that
spoilers
game.
for Colonel's Bequest. I guess.
Excuse me. John said it's called Colonel's Bequest.
Yes, that's right. Colonel's Bequest, where you gotta go find the bees.
Yeah.
Sorry if I... Maybe that's the way we pronounce it.
You know what?
here
You
in
guys
Canada.
razz me about pronouncing shit.
Never. We've
all-
never once.
earlier in this
Never
episode.
once have you
Earlier
I
ever...
just
in
wanted to
this
defend myself and
episode
say I
you
was
did.
only piling on. I did not bring up Bequest. I thought it was fine. But it did make me laugh when I thought of
I'm being
Bequest.
extra-
You know, is the Honey Nut Cheerios
I'm being
being
extra
this?
vigilant
Right?
because-
Must be.
I'm being extra vigilant
Uh-huh.
because John
Well.
made fun of me earlier. So
Wait,
Maybe
what did
I'll
I
pay you
do?
for how I said
Never.
antenna.
Yeah, you've been razzing
I
everybody
said
for how they
that,
say things.
you guys
I don't
deserve
know.
it.
Vanessa does
You
for sure
deserve
deserve it.
Vanessa,
She,
in
yeah,
this
she's
episode
very
said
mean.
burger time.
Every time she makes hamburgers, she messages us and says she made
So-
verbatim, which is not nice.
She always says that though. To be fair.
Because and you do finally talk to the captain, and the captain's like, you tell the captain what happened. He's like, what?
Yeah,
That's terrible.
But I'm still not coming
All
out of my
right,
room.
Let's go have a funeral. We'll go. No, he says he'll go meet you at the funeral place down the torpedo tube, and that's where you go try to find the body. The body's gone, so you need to go figure out that it's in Rachel's. And Rachel's like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm feeling a bit loopy, but she does get a message on her computer that does tell her that ignore the body, just go meet him at the airlock, which I think everyone knows.
This must be Rachel's room
not.
because the other messages on the thing are from him to
Yeah, but
Rachel.
this is to her because
I
she's
think
in
it is
that
Rachel's room. I'm pretty sure this is Rachel's room. I think Vanessa's right.
Definitely
I'm almost
Rachel's
positive
room.
this is Monica's room. It's definitely not
Okay.
Phoebe's room. I don't think she lives with them.
No. I thought they did. Do they not?
She did at
Oh,
one
let's see.
point. Monica moved out, and then Phoebe moved in with Rachel.
By
But
the end of the
didn't
series, it
work
was Monica and Chandler living in that big apartment, which was, ugh. Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. So
I guess.
you go to the airlock. The
out. I
airlock.
like Mike. He's my
wow.
favorite friend.
Was that the one that was day drinking?
No, that was Paul Rudd.
Everyone's holding on to, what's his face? What's her face? Rachel. Because
Yeah,
they're,
she's
they're-
ready to go out the
And
airlock.
take us all with her. She's just opened the thing and is now opening the door. It's great. You can go around as a little robot egg and talk to everybody, and they're basically all just going, Rachel!
I have a confession.
You were hoping she would go out the airlock?
When I was exploring, when I was exploring the ship early in this game, I found the airlock room, and I opened both of the doors, and Cube got sucked into space, and I got the game over.
That's fucking amazing. I love that.
Yeah, I was like, let's see what happens. And
a
you
real
see him
Space
like
Quest
floating
kind of
through
thing happening.
space, like debris. And it goes, Cube never set foot on Earth.
Oh, he says that every time you get hit by the behemoth, too. Speaking of which, there's a weird noise. You go check it out while they restrain Rachel. You go to the storage container, and the behemoth ain't there. So you then go back to tell them. Do you run to the behemoth when you get
Yeah,
out?
when you
Yeah.
realize he's gone when you come out, he's like at the bottom of the screen and you have to run from him.
Yeah. So you go to the airlock and you're like, hey guys, so the behemoth is out? And Darth is real mad at you, assumes you probably let it out. And unfortunately, everyone's attention is turned to that, and it does give Rachel a chance to hit buttons on the thing, and Kato and Cube are sucked out into the airlock and barely manage to escape.
Yeah, I
with
think
their
Cube
lives.
gets
Yep, they're heading towards
Cube
the
gets
exit.
sucked out first, and I think that Kato like jumps to save him. I don't think that Kato gets sucked.
It's his robot friend.
So that's nice. He's a nice robot owner.
He's a good man.
Yeah, Kato's a good guy.
Yeah, Kato's a good guy.
But they get it closed,
And this,
and it saves our lives.
yep. And they all meet up in the rec room.
Rachel's very sorry.
Yeah. She's super
There's
sorry.
a lot of accusatory stuff here
but-
where they're all like, "You did it! No, you did it!"
Yeah, she starts accusing Huey
Yes.
of sabotaging
Kirk's suit.
because because they're exes, and she's like, you just thought getting him out of the way would make us back together. And that's not going to happen. And then
I think like these people
Yeah.
fucking hate each other, and it establishes that pretty early on. That was probably the thing I liked the least.
Oh, no, I
about
loved it.
This was all of the.
It's so good
like,
at
I
establishing
like
the
soapiness
character
of it
of
all,
like
but
all these people kind of suck. Like they're all shitty to each other, or like gross, or like overly fucking
I
clingy.
guess-
Like
I
none of
guess
the.
that's true.
It does a lot
won't
with a
say
little, but it's a lot
I
of
won't say I
unhealthy relationships, and it really, I think.
Yeah, I won't say I didn't. Well, I said I didn't like it. I
Right.
retract that. I won't say I didn't like it, but it was definitely the thing I liked the least.
I understand that.
It felt the most like the other areas of the game, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or the least like the other areas of the game.
So Rachel decides to go run and save Kirk because she's like, he might be in danger from this behemoth running around, and then Huey runs after her. You chase after those two, and you do find them both pretty dead-ish in the hallway. Like, Huey gets off a little bit, but he's about to be dead. I think Rachel's just straight up dead.
Mm-hmm. But they tell him that she's not. They're like, oh no, she's fine. And he's like, oh good.
So they put them safely away in those cryo chambers, and then they're like, okay, we gotta call the captain. They call the captain on the big video, the Zoom screen in the rec room, and they're like, hey, captain, there's an emergency. The behemoth is loose, and Huey and Rachel are dead. He's like, what? That's terrible. I was like, wait a minute. I know that line. He said that before.
Mm-hmm. And he starts glitching out, and he's like, that's terrible. What?
He's Max Headrooming.
Uh-huh.
Terrible.
So they decide they need to go to the captain's quarters and see what's up. But to do that, you have to go talk to the AI and get an override code.
Which doesn't work. I thought I
Oh,
read
yeah, it doesn't
written
work.
down wrong.
Wait, you trying to type it in?
too.
I have to type
You
shit
have to type it in.
You have to type it in.
You have to type
Yeah,
shit
you
in
do.
a lot in this
That-
chunker.
The only thing I
lying,
typed
you're
in were two things: cube and warp speed.
No, you also got to memorize
You
the
don't.
password from the computer and type it. Sure. And then type it in.
Maybe that
to
just
get-
went the other way, and then
I
didn't
walked
have
up to it and it was like, the password doesn't work. Use your power bar, and that's what I did.
I didn't have the
you know
power
what it
bar
was?
at this point.
Kato
there's-
uses the power bar.
because
And then he gives it to you.
Kato
I'm
says,
100%
"Oh, you
right
already
about what
tried
happened
it.
here.
You
You're
don't-
all wrong.
No, you are right. Because,
You're right. Yeah, you're
Kato
right.
has some dialogue
You're a
here.
fucking mother.
Because I went and tried the door. No, I went and tried the door first. I did
Me
have to
too.
enter
I
the
typed
password.
it in.
And he's like, "Oh, you already tried the door and the password didn't work? That's very impressive of you." Because I didn't realize he wanted you to bring the password back to him. I thought he
Yeah.
wanted
Where's your password?
the door. So yes, Matthew, you're right. Oh,
Mine was Oak Fade, but without an A.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I wrote
Mine
it down.
was that one too. Yeah.
It was that. You're right.
Wow, John.
Yeah, and I tried it like 3 times, and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, did I write it down wrong? And I went back to the computer, asked for it again,
Wow.
confirmed it was what I thought it was, and tried it again, and it still didn't
I
work.
was like,
Yes,
thank
to me
you.
it was-
I don't
like,
have
for
to-
me it
I
was-
didn't have to remember that. I'm
I
sorry.
took a still of it.
Please.
So for me, it was the 4th option in the list of options. Was it a different option for you guys, or do you remember?
Options? There were no options.
For me, it was multiple choice. It's like, what's the password? And it was at the bottom
Wow.
of the thing. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I had to type it
No,
in.
Jim, you're thinking of what I was thinking of. That is near future. That's the password for the door where you had to.
Oh, that's the password to
That's
the
the
executive door.
F7,
That's the
yeah,
executive door
yeah.
where the scientists are in Scuba. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
This is the rightest I've ever been.
You're right.
You're so
Matthew,
right.
But
we're
we're
saying
both
you're
right,
It's
Matt,
still the rightest I've ever
because
been.
it's just we had different
Both right. It's
experiences.
pretty right.
Vanessa, don't
Thank you.
steal Matthew's thunder.
Why is Vanessa
I
rating my
will.
parade?
I'll take
Don't
his
rate my
thunder.
parade.
I'm gonna rate on his
steal
parade.
his
I'm gonna
honor.
take his thunder. I'm gonna steal his honor.
Wow.
Wow.
Vanessa's stolen valor.
Yeah. So,
Dark.
you finally get the door open with this like power crowbar that Kato brought.
Pry,
and
the
he's like,
power
the
pry bar.
pry bar. They call it pry bar. Power
Yeah.
pry bar, yeah.
So he gives that to the robot. It's like, you might need this later. Just remember, it only has a limited amount of uses. And you
So
go
did you guys get close? Did you guys get close to running
No.
this power pry bar out? I used it. I think
I got-
maybe 2 or 3
I
times.
use it
Yeah.
mostly to open those Jeffries tubes that you don't really need. Like,
I got the
Oh, I
video
knew
game
that.
equivalency
Yeah,
of like
except-
claustrophobia, where I was like, I can't. I just had to look up I had to
Like,
pull
I'll
up a
never
guide
use
to
this.
be like, tell me what to do. Because my assumption was, you're going to want to use this in like 4 places to get the weapons and shit that you really need. And then that was not the case.
Oh,
You
I
don't
didn't do that.
fucking need it for anything.
I've been using a guide to play this game up until this chapter when it said no combat. I was like, oh, I don't need a guide.
I used a guide for the no.
Wow,
kills,
you
and that's
spoiled no combat for
yeah.
yourself?
Except I
That's a
did-
bummer.
it. No,
Oh
the,
yeah, but it also kind of put me at ease and let me enjoy the dialogue and stuff more.
Yeah, I used the guide for the no kill to know what I could kill and what I couldn't.
Yeah, I did. Well, I mean,
Wait, I
I
thought
did it
John
for
didn't
the
all
Ito.
kill.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the total kill for Ito.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this one, I just looked up I forget I was looking up some kind of like upgrade path or something, and that's where I saw that you need to keep those robot parts for Cube later, for the next chunker or the one after this. So we find the captain. He's not just dead, but he's been dead for a while. So there's something going on with the computer. It seems to be mucking about with things, and now at this point, it's just you and Darth. And Darth again.
He really
hates
opens up
planks.
to you though in this part of this. Like he's
Yeah, in a second. I did find, exploring just a moment before, I did find the other robot. You can find that in, like, on the third floor at the total
Oh
south.
yeah, for sure.
It's shut down though, or that's what it says.
You get a really cool little like close up on it, or maybe this is if you die in the game. If you get caught by the behemoth, it shows like your little robot body all crushed with the hat sitting on top of your dead robot body.
Oh.
That's what happens here, because
Yeah.
So you get back to the captain's room. I forgot why you left. Oh, I think was it to get authorization or something from from the computer. I can't remember.
You needed to find the right terminal, right?
No, this is before
Not
that.
yet.
This is
This is
he's
before
like, oh, go check out the authorization panel, and I can't remember why. But you get back to the room, and then suddenly there's a robot in
Oh,
there.
you needed to make it okay for like crew members to examine something, right?
I can't remember. But you get back
It's something
inside,
like that.
and there's another cube, and you and that cube get into a fight, and they can't. The Kato and Darth can't figure out which is the
Darth
good one, which
Marenghi
is the
can't
bad
figure
one.
out
You
which
get
one is
in
the
one
good one
of-
and which one is the bad one. It's a classic scenario.
Well, you get into one of those like the evil twin Bart scenario, where
or
it's a
Lore
Bart
and
that eats
Data
fish
from
heads, or
Next Gen.
yeah.
And
Say something that only Cube would know.
how does Kato get
Yes.
hurt here?
Kato got
doesn't
hurt by
Darth
the robot, by the evil robot.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't remember if he did it or Dart did it.
So
Because
Kato
Dart is
gets
the one
hurt,
with the gun.
and Kato realizes that something only his real robot would remember is the awful name he came up for the robot, which is Roundy.
I didn't remember it. I had to watch the flashbacks.
Me too.
Oh, I remembered it. And remember,
So
Roundy
this is where you get the mandatory dialogue about the Watanabe drives, like one operating independently of another if one dies. This is where you get that spit back at you what Rachel says about it's the Watanabe joke again.
I didn't get that, but
Well, you didn't watch the flashback, did you?
yeah, I didn't watch that flashback.
Yeah.
So the thing that he's like, you have to recall what the initial name was, which is Roundy, which again is future for boobs.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's
that's it, because he's a
established.
sex bot.
I don't think it
That's
is
canon.
canon. I don't
Yep,
think he's
that's
a sex bot. He's an egg bot. This is clearly Dr.
Yeah,
Robotnik's
sex with an egg.
future
Oh,
son
Cones,
or past
you know.
grandfather,
You're right.
which is usually what grandfathers
Eggs have a
are.
lot to do with sex, really. Well, with reproduction, anyway.
Yeah, they have something, not a lot, but something.
Maybe a lot.
I tried to
Maybe a
sex
lot.
eggs.
So
Love eggs? Is that a thing?
you say you have to type in Roundy here, so that's a third thing you have to type in for sure. And then Darth shoots the other robot. You see its collapsed little body on the floor.
You get some good like
And
gunshots here. Like he
they-
like has an assault rifle and he like blasts this robot. It felt very alien-y, but he was
Also-
shooting a twin of me.
Now you get chased sometimes through the hallways by the behemoth, and I every time the behemoth showed up, even though it's just a cute little 16-bit sprite, I always went, yeah! Like, I couldn't help it. I'm easily startled. It makes me anxious being chased by that behemoth.
It is scary. It charges down the hall at you.
If it touches you,
It's
you
slower
die.
than you.
How is
Yeah,
it moving
that's
between decks?
Well, there's those
There's-
Jeffries tubes, but
It's
Oh,
a
there's
window.
shafts. You probably go
Yeah,
up a
that's
shaft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my cat could go up a shaft.
so Darth gets
Say it,
you
Kate.
to help
No.
put Kato in the cryotube. Now everyone's in cryotubes to try and keep them alive, although I guess everyone else is dead, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
there's a
Kato's still
reference
alive.
to, like, someone turned off one of the cryotubes. So I think that, what's his name, Huey was still alive, and then they're like, because they say to that other robot, you're the one who turned off Huey's.
Oh, I didn't
cryotube.
notice that. Huh. Weird. Maybe it's because I didn't look or something. Anyway, so, but they put Kato into the cryotube.
I don't remember
He's
putting Kato
dead.
into a cryotube.
I thought they were saying... There's a scene of it.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. A little cutscene. Yep.
Yeah, going into the stasis.
I thought they
thing.
said that the evil cube was the one that destroyed Kirk's life support system.
Yes, but they deduced that Evil Cube is not the mastermind behind what's going on here.
Right, because he does start saying, and I also got this message when I was looking at like the AI control panel, like, this is my, you should stop what you're doing, this is my domain. And Evil Cube says the exact same thing. I was like, oh, this is turning into a 2001 situation.
It fully is. So they determined that they need to get access to the central computer hub, but they can't get in there. But the engineer, Kato, says, oh, well, maybe if you go to an unobserved or unmonitored console, you can hack your way in there.
I figured out right away which console.
Me
that was.
too.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess it's telegraphed somehow.
It's
that
our old pal, Captain Square,
Well,
the video
like-
game.
So I went to a couple of different ones, and it was like, this is the console for like navigation, and this is the console for like life support, and they wouldn't let you do it. And then when you go to examine the arcade one, it's like, this is an arcade game, and then you get a radio call from Darth, who's like, you know what? It makes sense for it to be that one.
Kato was
Like,
thinking of this
like,
one.
why wouldn't it be that one?
So, you log into the arcade game and things start getting glitchy and weird, and the computer's like, die, child, die. It's pretty cool.
I did the guide version of this, where
Oh.
you move to the bottom right of the field and do the maze cannon, attack twice, and it's over.
I figured that part out, but yeah, I didn't do it that way. I figured that out like when it's too late, because you can't do that one thing. I don't know. He kept getting healed. I killed off all the other ones with that massive attack that attacks everything, and then I used the maser cannon after killing all the other healies. I thought if you get out of the range of his attack that would help, but actually it's worse because instead of attacking you, it heals itself. So I kept close and then kept using the maser cannon on it. And we should mention, the AI shows up as like an evil robot head in the background of the Captain Square video game. It looks really cool.
And its name is
OD10.
10, yep. Which is
Really
starting
fun
to
boss
sound
fight?
familiar.
The only boss fight, the only mandatory fight in this chunker, the other fights are just the Captain Square game.
Which I totally beat, and I didn't get a trophy, and I didn't get a prize. I did
You
get
also
Kirk's
hear-
respect.
Darth does get charged by the Behemoth and starts shooting at it, and you don't know what happens until after you defeat OD10 and Darth comes in. Wait, you got the Captain's respect?
I got Kirk's respect for beating the video game.
Oh, what's he say?
Well, when you go to play Captain Square, initially he's like, I'm the best at Captain Square, no one can beat me. Turns out it's because he has a memory card under his bed that cheats. But after I beat the game, he's like, oh, guess I'm gonna have to step up my game. So, that's it.
So, after you defeat him, it cut back to Darth. He's there, and he's like, you know, Clank, it's strange ending up here with a Clank like you. I was in the war. There was a war well before your time back on Earth where we built the Clanks, and then the Clanks rebelled against us, and the Clanks were used against us, and that was the war. And
He says, I watched Clanks tear my
I watched
friends
Clanks
apart.
unmake my friend.
claws.
We made Clanks and they unmade us. It's dark.
it was great. Yep. And then cut to expository dialogue saying that the ship was recovered, the robot was recovered, and Darth and Kato were still alive, but everyone else was super dead.
The end.
end.
The end.
At the end.
And that's it. We've done all of the chapters of
That's it for
Lilith.
Little
Wait to play our next
Yay,
game.
Next time.
Oh, no, wait.
Right.
One more chapter opened up if you went back to the chapter select screen, and we get to go back to the Middle Ages.
Oh, that's not going to be as fun as Robot Future.
Knights and fights and maidens
I
fair.
love Knights and Fights and Maidens
Fair
Fair.
tights. Yeah.
All right, I guess next time, will we be finishing the game next chunker?
Uh-huh.
Oh boy, that's exciting.
And after that, question
before
mark?
that- Jim, tell me
Well-
about the bullshit minigame that I missed. The
Oh,
takoyaki
sure.
stand.
So, yeah, you can go work at the takoyaki stand with Lawless, and as soon as you walk up to it, a customer, a randomly generated customer, either a boy or a teenager or an older person, will come up, and you can charge them either 100, 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000 yen, something like that. And if it's a businessman or an old lady, you can charge them the max. And they'll give you the best item. I can't remember what the item is, but you can transform it into a potion number 9. One of the items is another takoyaki. One of them is
The
a
last one's
banana
like the
crepe,
Mitsuya
and
special.
there's another one.
Mitsuna
Yeah,
special.
yeah. And so you can transform all of those eventually into potion number 9s, but you can do this endlessly. You can just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and get as many items as you want.
So there's no like diner dash or some kind of minigame.
No,
deal.
you like walk up to the stand. A customer approaches. You choose what to charge them, and then you get an item.
This is why businesses need to have posted prices so that they can't profile their clients or discriminate against their clients and charge them, more for being whatever, old or rich or whatever. This is why you gotta have.
I see. So Johnny's against tiered pricing for the wealthy. I guess you approve of a flat
What
tax rate,
if,
too.
what happens if Chrono doesn't like, people of a certain ethnicity and decides to charge them 100,000 yen? That's what these posted prices are supposed to protect against.
I see. Actually, it does seem like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to get ripped off.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when you charge customers the max amount, they're like, I don't remember it charging this much, but I guess I'll pay it. and if you charge the least amount, they'll be like, wow, that's a great price, and then they'll pay you.
All right. So, what are you roundly for or squarely against this chunker, Matthew?
I'm rallying for the no combat in the distant future. What a great idea. What a great change of pace. This game has been all about changes of pace, and they have nailed it again and again. So, yeah, I'm rallying for no combat. Vanessa!
New York City.
I am squarely against the amount of combat in near future. I didn't feel it was necessary to have quite so many enemy waves. And especially at this point in the game, maybe I'd feel differently if we'd played the chapters in different orders, but I didn't need a whole bunch of more fighting at this point.
Hopefully that
When
last
this
chunker
game-
won't have so many fights.
Yeah, when this game is over, I'd really like us all to talk about what our favorite and least favorite chapters were.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I'm even thinking I've already ranked them in my head so far, but
Me
I won't
too.
tell you this now.
Jim, what are you squarely against?
I will say, I'm I'm roundly for these chapters as I played them, but also I'm kind of squarely against these chapters because you can play these chapters as the first ones you play in the game. I feel like Near Future would have been an okay chapter to start with, but Distant Future is, if this is a chapter you started with, I can see people bouncing off this game. Like, that would have been a weird chapter to open with, I think.
Yeah, especially if you're looking for a combat RPG, it'd be like,
yeah, and like kind of the rest of the game kind of is, except for Wild West. So it's, I won't say roundly for, but like I could see it's a big gamble for a game like this to let folks start with an option that's so much different from the rest of the game. Like, I enjoyed it, but in the context of it being like your intro to the game, I could see you bouncing off of it. So, what about you, John?
I'm roundly for just the atmosphere of the Distant Future. It's so good. And even though the writing's, it's fine, and the sprite art's cute and 16-bit, it still made me spooked. It's still
I found myself getting scared
ominous
of the
and
Behemoth
creepy.
when it's chasing you.
Yeah.
Like, even though you run so much faster than the Behemoth, I still felt it was pretty tense. Yeah.
Reminds me a bit of Soma. I feel like we should stream that sometime, too.
Oh, Soma would be so fun to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Soma
never
and
finished
Soma would be good, and Observer, which is kind of in the same vein, would also be good.
All right. Do we have any emails, Vanessa?
yes. Here's an email with some fan art.
That's not what it is.
That's right, we got fan art. It says, Hello, Square Roots. I'm working on a painting of my sister and her kids when I was yelled at to send an email. I sent in a progress photo. And here is some fan art of Ricky's sister and her children. They're looking great. They're having fun.
They're in a pool.
They're in a pool, having a good time. It is fan art. It is not fan art of us.
Hi, guys. Here listening while out in the sun, out in the sun on the deck, beer in hand.
So, you know what? I'm going to do it. You're reading it wrong. Hi, guys. Here listening while out in the sun on deck, beer in hand.
This is a long email, Vanessa. I don't
Jim,
think
you have to read the email.
Oh, man. Okay.
Drooping head.
Hi, guys.
Full of garden.
Here, listening while out in the sun on the deck, beer in hand, tending to table of drooping herbs I call a garden down here in Auckland, New Zealand, on a Sunday arvo. Then a wall of desperation came through the speakers. Bit of a boring email, but you did ask for it. Take it or leave it as suits. If I was funny, I'd do a podcast or something. Just sort of, I don't know how to read this. Just sorted out my brother with a Switch Lite while he was here visiting from Melbourne. He was worried, being partially disabled due to something along the lines of a stroke when young, with mostly typical effects mentally and physically, that he wouldn't be able to use the thing given the controls are on either side of the screen and not reachable with one hand. The other factor at play is that the Switch Lite is still less likely to break or lose parts as a one-piece unit versus separable controllers on full Switch. If comfortable sharing, do you all have any features that prevent you or family members from enjoying games outside of the actual quality of it, or games that you couldn't play because of this, such as color blindness making some unplayable, or RSI such that you need to be able to customize controls or not being able to enlarge text size, etc.? Let me read the next paragraph too, because it's kind of a continuation. Or games you love but wouldn't recommend to others for whatever reason. Pillars of Eternity games on console are some of the best games in years in my eyes, but I will never recommend them to anyone on console where I played because load times are disrespectfully long, going from room to room even. Would have hoped by 2 they'd have sorted that out, but no, fuck me. Still by their end. Also, yeah, Okami is a great game. Beautiful, sounds great, play great, but too long. Past halfway, the charm starts to lose its luster due to, actually, now you mention it, crap like unskippable text boxes played on PS2. I did finish it proper, though, did everything, then promptly gave it away to a stranger as I was proper done. If nothing else, take this email as one loud vote of positivity and encouragement for what you're doing. Love the show and always look forward to it. You're definitely not shouting into an empty hole anyway. Cheers, Jason Timms.
I would say we all know one of our podcast members has problems with his hands.
That's
hurting
true.
From
The
switching.
Switchy
Yeah.
and the Vita and the
But
3DS,
my
my
hands
little
hurt.
thumbsies hurt, but I bought big fat controllers, and now my thumbs don't hurt no more. We also know that one member of the show has a very badness at playing video games and plays them all on easy.
It's me.
Could have been anything. That was the joke.
Yeah. I have made clear my feelings about accessibility in video games. I think the more the better. A game that I enjoyed that I'd never recommend. I would never recommend anyone play The Quiet Man because it's a horrible broken game and it has
if they like that
horrible
kind of
portrayals of disability
And
and
women.
race and women. But I
Your
did
girlfriend.
enjoy playing it for the show because it was so bad. Like, I say enjoy, like, I remember now playing it and being so upset that I, at one point, put my controller down on my lap and just stared at the game. Like, it was in the middle of a fight, I just stared at the other characters punching the main character in the face. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
But you did.
But I did. So I think that, I know that doesn't really address your question about accessibility limiting gameplay. But since we're playing older games, there are definitely some that contain content that would not really fly these days, particularly without trigger warnings. So I think that there are a handful of games that we've played for the show that I'd be like, no, nobody should play that, including South Park: Stick of Truth.
Or at least check
Yeah.
it out. I mean, you'll know by now if you like South. If you like South Park, go ahead. If you have, it's like a interactive South Park episode, and in that it's great.
Yeah.
But if you don't like South Park,
You're not gonna have a great time. That was my take on it.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I think the hardest games to recommend to anyone personally are Souls games or games with Souls-like combat. Like, even the 2018 God of War, which has very, parry attack combat. I can't recommend those games to people because a lot of people just don't like to play games that way.
Another game I was looking at reviews of with the Drakengard series this week, and I just feel like there's too many content warnings for those games. I feel like making.
I know what you're talking about, John, but I think they would make good
Don't bring me into
episodes.
this.
I think they would make good episodes.
Well, no, I just think that it's just there's so much grossness to that series.
You guys are gonna have to do the Patreon plug because I gotta go. So bye.
All right, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Patreon. We have a Patreon. $5 a month. Oh yeah, thanks Ricky and thanks Jason for your emails. For $5 a month, you can vote on our upcoming and current votes. I think right now it's probably our last vote for 2022. It's up to you.
Are we not going to all votes?
Maybe. We haven't decided on that.
Yeah, we
But
haven't made
there
a
will
decision
be more votes next year. We'll figure out just the amount that we'll work on that. But for $3 a month, you can listen to every single bonus episode we have. And also for $5. We're not going to stop you from listening to it at $5. It's, it's both things. You get to vote. And listen, anyway, I'm just talking and talking here. The bonus episode of Barbarian, which apparently contains the word Airbnb. Does that explain the title? Is coming out.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that.
Yep. Barbarian.
That explains the title because I didn't think it made sense before that.
No, I didn't.
Is coming
Wow.
out this weekend, Jim? Do you think you have time?
Yes.
Okay. Barbarian's
sure.
coming out this weekend. We had the DVD
The
commentary.
weekend before this episode
for
releases.
Ghost Sheep. So that was last. And this month, whose month is it this month?
Either yours or Matt's, I think.
No, Matt had the one
Vanessa.
before me, so it's Vanessa, yeah.
Oh, I had my Taskmaster one pretty recently, didn't I?
Oh, that's John's.
Okay.
Johnny! It's finally time for Johnny's PowerPoint adventure that he's been threatening.
Yeah.
Would you feel up to doing we can do that. We can do a Jeopardy because there's this thing where you can build a Jeopardy game on a web page and then we can all play it.
Oh, that sounds
I've done
fun.
both of those things, so whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Anyway, there's gonna be something fun, something a little different this month. Johnny ones tend to not be a player watch thing. They tend to be do a stupid thing because it entertains me. So that'll be this month's bonus. Anyway, but we'll thank every single listener, no matter what you, or every single patron, no matter what you donate.
My cat is in the corner whacking his food bag over and over and over again with his paw, being like, it's time for you to stop recording and start feeding me.
Jim's gonna start with number 1 here.
Sure, I would like to thank A Sheep in Wolf's Clothing, Johnny Five Alive, Tyler Crump, Ward Childress, Fresh Eyes, Vanessa's mom hides from the behemoth, Kyle is dreaming of a Dr. Steven Stone 5-hander to completion, and Gamma Gadiation.
You go, Johnny.
I'd like to thank Teen Wolfhard Bumpkins, Chris Penyak, Aiden Marriott, Jack Massell, Megan Sullivan, Eric Garby, Andy, Florian Jones Kramer. Oh, hey, it's Amanda P. Vanessa.
I'd like to thank Keysby Knight, Trey, Ross Hartley, Sergeant Spaghetti, Friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, Rubber Bear, Alex Joseph, Kristen Ingram, Vertically Aligned Nano Floppy Hair, My Battery is Low, Wash in the Wind, Grayson Nawford, The Jethro, Jeremy I Am, David Green, Amanda Douglas, and Adam H.
We have an email, squarerootspodcast@gmail.com, and you can go on a Square Roots podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or tweet at us at SquareRootsPod. Jim, you can do the next chunk. Let's switch it up.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter at BeigeOnBeige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
If you're listening on Spotify, you can check out our archive on Libsyn or somewhere else.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zandt and Johnny Brandon.
And I'm just Vanessa, but that's enough. I try to tell myself that. I don't always believe it, but today I'm Vanessa, and that's enough.
Yay!
Okay, bye. Bye.